Well, I hope everybody's getting out in the shop right now and playing around and turning some wood, making some shavings. This time of the year for trees to come down, you know that. So could be a lot of wood. And went through the neighborhood and saw a couple of really good looking turning op opportunities. In fact, one of them, as I drove by today, I wish I still had that propane powered chainsaw I had at one time because they had a burl on the side of a piece of oak out there that I love that have. I mean, it was a really nice shaped burl, not on the side of a tree. And oh, that thing, yeah, I would have found a way to go get it turned somewhere. It really, yeah, it was beautiful. But you run into that this time of the year. It's nice. Hope everybody's finding some stuff to turn. It's the opportunity. So, anybody didn't turn anything special? You know, what's been popping up? What's been in the shops?
I've been
Well,
cleaning.
I've got a ton of cherry I've been cutting up and turning. So
I saw some of it.
yeah, I stacked it up. I've got I'm doing some inside out ornaments. So I needed to cut blanks for that. So that's what all those were for. All right. Al's got some stuff to show. Good to see. A little
Al,
early for gallery, but hey.
yeah. Well, yeah. Al's always got something to show. He is an interesting turner. I got to give him that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
No, I'm not.
You are. Well, you
No,
try
I
stuff.
don't
have
I
anything.
love that. That's how we get better. You're always pushing yourself.
Yeah, it's
I
like
don't have anything to show this week. I'll have some pens to show next week. I'm in the process of casting some pen blanks for some kits I ordered that I just got in.
I was at a craft show. I don't like these flea market things. I went to an art show with my wife because it was a beautiful day Saturday, and they had four different turners displaying work. Now that's unusual for here. I mean, we normally see oddities and junk and people pawning off things that were pre-made someplace else and comes in as maybe being turned. But they had a guy there. He's from New Orleans here. I thought I had his business card up on my desk. I must have moved it. But he did some really great looking pens, kits. Had some fountain pens, some click pens, a lot of nice two-piece pens, and real fantastic finishes. And did some other work too. They had a guy that was doing work that was only with reclaimed lumber. I love that term, reclaimed lumber. And I asked him, I said, where'd you come up with that at? He blamed it on me. Because I'd used that term one time when I did stuff for an auction, a benefit auction. But he gets his lumber out of the Mississippi River. Him and another guy, they go along the Batcher, the land between the river and the levee, and look for logs that come down river. And that's where they harvest their lumber from. And everything he turns comes out of there. And has some fantastic looking work. I mean, really great looking stuff. And he was busy as could be. We stood and talked to him a little while, but yeah, I don't want to stand and talk to the guy about turning. If he's got customers coming by to talk about his work, because you have to give the spiel, you have to work the crowd and talk to people, and he was busy doing that. And some lady came up, she said, wood turning, isn't it? Yeah. And she kind of netted, I said, lady, it's an ancient art that's been resurrected, and it's a fantastic thing. It is done with this, and it's no gizmos or gadgets or anything. And I started to tell her about it. I sold her one of his bowls. Yeah, and I said, don't pass this up. This is what you can have. And she says, but I've never seen anything like that. And I said, and you'll not find a duplicate. It's not like you put it on a shelf and somebody will say, I got one exactly like that. God doesn't do that. You get that one piece of wood, and that's what you're going to get. And
You only get that one chance.
That's it. And she was happy, really happy. She wasn't there waiting for him to take care of business. But I did run across a guy that was a stamp maker, and he was looking for boxwood. But he hit me with a loop. He said, "Where can I find some American-grown boxwood of reasonable price?" Unfortunately, when you put boxwood in reasonable price, they don't do that, you know.
They don't jive.
They don't fit the same box at all. No pun, but they don't. Is there a source for boxwood in America? Somebody got a vendor? Know of a vendor? I need to tell this guy about it and let him, see if he. I told him Cook Woods because I'd gotten some really nice pieces out of Cook Woods one time. I got a 3x3 about 4 foot long, and did a lot of little vases and stuff on my own little machine. Because when you do boxwood, well grown boxwood, mature stock, it cuts like plastic. It really does. I mean, it's so sweet, especially with an ornamental machine. But I dropped the name on him, but I didn't go hunting for it to see if that was a source. But I need to find this guy a source. He was a stamp maker. He wasn't a wood turner, but he was right next to another guy who was a wood turner and did some beautiful little trinket jars with. He played with magnets for lids, and I liked it because, Matt, you'd like this. He had
John Kelsey of Lancaster Wood Turners.
no. This guy was local, Nick somebody, and he'd only been turning a few years. That was surprising, but he did some beautiful. It was all in grain cut.
Good afternoon.
He had some beautiful grain matches running up in these pieces, all on end grain, and a lot of ash and a couple other woods. But he did them with lids that were fitted. But in order to get the grain to line up perfectly, he inserted rare earth magnets, 2 and 2. And when you put the lid on and you move the magnet, it would pop right to the spot where you get a perfect lineup, but it wouldn't go to the other side and, only go to that point. It was good. Yeah, I'm looking at it and thinking, man, I'd see Matt Harbor doing this.
I want to know more, Eddie. I've made some salt cellars with steel pins where they rotate. But I want to add magnets into box lids. That absolutely sounds like something I'm fascinated by. So
Yeah.
Guys,
It had very.
real quick, let me jump over to Jeff and do a quick system check for the demo tonight.
Sure.
All right, Jeff, we got you.
Okay, so can you hear me okay?
yes.
Yes,
Okay.
kind of muffled, but yeah, we can
For
hear
some
you.
reason, my earbuds are only connecting through my phone, so I'm doing all the audio through the phone.
Okay.
The phone's working good, and then I have my iPad for my screen, and I got that
Okay,
muted.
You have
Hey
the
Jeff.
volume.
Hey Jeff.
turn-
Jeff, you don't
the
have to
volume up.
change that. You don't have to change this now. But I had this problem too, and it was because my phone had the Bluetooth on, and it was picking up the earbuds first. It
Well,
was
I did turn
preventing
the Bluetooth off.
All right.
I'll double check it, but
Hey, Jeff, can you make sure you got the volume turned all the way up on your phone too?
I do.
Okay.
Well, here, let me go over here. Okay, it says it's up full.
Okay.
Now, I'm using my earbuds, so the microphone and those are picking up my voice.
Okay. Camera looks
Can you
good.
can you hear the air filter in the background?
No, Zoom filters that background noise out.
Okay, and how's this? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I think that was the main thing.
Sure.
I think we're good to go.
Yeah, all right, sweet. We'll get you on about 5 o'clock or here in about an hour and 15 minutes, all right?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, looks like we're set up and ready to go for a demo later.
But it was a good clean. I mean, that was a good clean chuck face. Well maintained. But I was
Yeah.
talking, the guy that I was talking about the Magnus, the guy put a small receiver on the lid, very small, a little tendon on the lid just for alignment. But that to keep it centered on the hoop. But he had little 1/8 inch rare earth magnets. He got a K&J Magnetics. And he just did 2 reference points. And when you turn it, let me, when you turn it right online, it just snapped right to where the perfect alignment for grain. And it was sweet because I was watching a guy turn it, he says, whoa. You know, he says, wow, how'd that happen? And it's fun to watch people who haven't taken a hard look at wood turning, take a look at good wood turning. Now, he didn't have those tight fitting lids or anything, and he didn't have a lot of play in it. It was just a good, clean fit. But he had some business card holder that he turned that were round, but would had an indent for a business card to fit inside of it. They were oval, and he turned them. And I said, how'd you do that? And he described the jig he got from Lindau White for an ornamental machine, modified it to do oval turning on his lathe. And I'm heading over to see that thing. I think we're going to get together next week. I gotta see what he's come up with on this. He's by what I've seen, he's a pretty good machinist by some of his other work, but he's only been playing with the wood for a few years. So it's nice to see some of those things when you go to art shows. And I was careful not to say craft shows, because craft shows don't attract that type of talent. It was really, really nice, and to see so many of them means the market was open, which is good. We will do gallery tonight before we go to our demonstration this evening. So if you have something, if you've been with the club for a while, you understand how it is. If you have something to show in gallery, you tell us in chat. I have something to show. And then we introduce, Matt takes care from there, and he'll introduce you and call on you and get you up there. We do have a safety moment with Safety Sue. She's in tonight. She was out last week. I think Sue was busy backstroking, and that was, but she's back. And so we have Sue back this week, and we have a few other things. But hey, while I have you, and there's only a few of you here, are y'all ready for the level up? Remember the level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's shaping up, folks. It's shaping up. This is, if you're part of this club, you're part of world making history. We are. We're a club of wood turners who started on a tailgate of a pickup truck just talking wood turning, and we're going to have a get together called Level Up. It's going to be in September 2026, and we're going to get together in Wisconsin, and we're going to do some serious talking about wood turning. But that's not talking. We're going to do a like never been before, let's say symposium, seminar, workshop, get together, gathering, hullabaloo, barbecue, and pig roast all in one.
Right.
And if anything else comes up, we'll add it to it. But it's going to be a great time, and it's coming up, and we're putting this together. We have a great 8. Get this, we have volunteer members, and you can't be much of a volunteer if you get into this. We have volunteer members who are putting this thing together. They're dedicating time to put this thing together, to make it click, and say, why don't we do it sooner? Because we're paving the road to where this is going to be. I mean, this is going to be a slick on, this is going to be right on down the line. And I keep getting requests, what are we going to do about this and this and this and this? Well, guess what? If you have a question about it, all you have to do is ask us. Yeah. And if you have a comment about it, and you want to be involved in it, you want to help out, you want to be part of it. It's just it's your club. It's not like we'll eliminate you or you're not in the clique. We hadn't gotten the clique yet. We're working on it, but the clique thing hadn't worked out. But we're putting it all together. If you've got comments, you send it to Level Up. That's Level Up, one word, LEVELUP at worldwidewoodturners.org. That's our address. How can you make it any simpler? There's one more. There's editor at worldwidewoodturners.org. That's where you send the photographs of the work you do and the articles you like to have and things like that in a newsletter. Newsletter's out next week. And I understand that there's a blank page or two available. Which means if you've got photographs or ideas on work, yeah, it'll fit. Yeah, always it'll fit. That's the beauty. You know, our editor, we can fool them into anything, really. I mean, send them a ton of stuff. Send them a ton of stuff. Yeah, and see what he do. He'll just turn it out into a newsletter. That's what he does. So, and it's not like he's waiting for his brother-in-law's cousin's uncle to come up with something. No, he's looking at woodturner stuff that does just what you do. Turn wood and share just like we do each week. So there's no clique, there's no gang, there's no waiting list, there's no priority, there's no hierarchy. And I had a hard time explaining that to a couple of guys this weekend. You know, we don't have somebody up there cracking a whip and saying, oh, we can't do that. There's only a few things we've ever said, oh, we can't do. And it took a lot of judgment to get there. And mainly they were, we can't show you something where you might get hurt. And that's been the only restrictions we've ever had. We're not going to show you any cowboy stuff. It just isn't going to work. I don't think you need me to teach you to be careless. I don't think you need somebody else to show you a shortcut to get hurt. And really, I don't want to see your wounds. I'm queasy. I would rather just show you the best way we know how to get something done, the safest way to get it done, and hope you follow along. And we hope you go along with that program. So in fairness, all fairness, and I'm being honest about this, you know, we are the fairest of all out there. You know, we have no allegiances to companies and businesses and a rule book that says we can't talk about this, we can't talk about that. If it looks like you'll get hurt, we're going to kind of sidetrack it, okay? Well, otherwise, I want to know what you're doing. I want to know what you come up with. Just now, we're looking at on his stronghold chuck, which I believe that was a one-way stronghold chuck that was on that lathe. He had a cold jaw set or an expandable jaw set with the buttons on it and all that. And that's part of what our demonstration is going to be on tonight. We're going to see a little bit of our demonstration in about 1 hour. And but see that tool right there, this is a club where you'll be able to see that in use and ask questions about it. But I could probably spend an entire evening telling you the versatility of that one attachment on your chuck. Now, I was a diehard fan of the one-way stronghold chuck. I believe I had 4 or 5 of them because I wasn't really big into changing chuck jaws. If I needed a number 2 chuck, I'd number on 1 chuck or a jumbo jaw, you know, and I was lazy. But and I always bought them out of used sales and stuff like that, and then I'd recondition them because they're so easy to rebuild. But I'd play with that chuck and see what he could do, because the rule is if you can hold it, you can turn it. That's the rule. mean, look, you see things come up here and you say, how the hell did he hold that thing? You know, and you know, and how do you hold it safely without, if y'all look at the Facebook page, I mean, Billy Bird had a nice, beautiful, thin piece that he was turning and it agree. Well, that piece over there didn't agree. And the piece that was over there didn't go along with it
Didn't
either.
agree.
No, they were just ornery. And they went separate ways. But you know, it's always if you can hold it, you can turn it. Well, that is a very versatile piece of equipment. If you're a new turner, it's very worth the investment. But the investment in time to learn how to work with it and what you can safely do. And by the way, don't go get bolts and nuts from the hardware store out of that big soft metal bin to work with it. You need to get machine parts. And that means the auto parts store or the refined bolts and nuts, because you don't want them moving and bending. Yeah. There's a lot of stress going on in that area. And
Not
keep
the
it,
$2 parts.
pardon?
Not the $2 parts.
No, yeah. If you can bend it with a pair of pliers, you don't want that crap. Pardon me.
Right?
But we just saw the one we're going to see in a demonstration tonight. That's a clean machine. That's a clean tool. It's simple to maintain, but you have to do that and then learn how it works. I had different plates to go on mine that were modified to hold bracelets. Yes, if you're a lady would like to have some bracelets turned, and this is the time you to think about those toys. Yeah, that jaw set is perfect for it because you put a phony set of jaws on top of it that are throwaways, and then that'll hold your bracelet so you can turn the inside to the exact 2 3/8 inch diameter, which would fit most ladies' hands. And you want to kind of test that on a piece before you put a lot of work into it to see it's the right size. But most bracelets are that size. And then that'll hold the inside, and then you change the jaws to another one, hold the inside and turn the outside. And you talk about quick and easy. And you'll stand and say, man, why didn't I learn how to do this before? And you had the toys in front of you the whole time. How are you holding that piece that's in your lathe today, Dane?
Oh, I've got it in, got a tenon on it.
You have a
Standard Bickmore chucks. Yep.
Now you're putting a finish on it right now.
Yeah, it's actually finished. Yep.
Okay. I love.
We'll get a little closer to it when I get called on to share my tip.
Okay. Great,
I'll
because
talk about it.
I love I love to see the right pieces hanging in the right places like that. And you got to think of the versatility of an expandable jaw set. And I'm not talking Longworths that are collapsible. They don't have as much precision as a scroll chuck does, in my opinion. But they got some new ones out there. Ron Brown's got some really nice stuff in the marketplace. And he's got some that's got about 1.5 billion different variations to them. And they all work, they do work nice. The fun is when you get into those weird pieces and you say, now how the hell am I going to hold that? Well, we just give you the solution. So play with it a little bit. And if you've got a problem like that and you want to discuss it, get your camera, your phone, your video source, and go to your machine and show us.
Or you want both?
And tell us what you like to see, what you like to have a problem with, or what you're trying to hold and what's going on. We probably will have a member that can solve that right then and there, or give them
Guaranteed.
a they'll run down to the shop and get it for you. It's happened. You won't believe what's happened here in 5 years. And really, you won't believe what happened in 5 years.
Right.
We got everything we got a little bit of weather, but man, oh, hope you don't mind the glare. It got chilly today. What a party.
It didn't get above 47 degrees Fahrenheit here today. So how chilly was it, Eddie?
Oh,
Same here. It hasn't been above 40, 45 here
it
all
got-
week.
It got down into the 60s.
It got all the way up to 78 for a high here today.
Wow, that's a heat wave, Billy.
Well, we didn't hit 100, so
I think
High
we're
90s.
58.
No, today was our first day that we weren't in the upper 90s, so I was ecstatic.
yeah, Friday we're supposed to hit 72.
I had 26 degrees at 9 o'clock this morning.
Oh.
Ouch.
Yeah,
Where
it's
would
been,
where would a wood
it's been
turning
cold
meeting
here in
be?
New York all week too.
What would a wood turning
Cold
be?
and rainy. We actually had some snowflakes yesterday morning.
Wow.
I love it. I love it. It's that time of year.
Yep.
I,
My
I
wife,
hate it. I hate it. It's that time of year.
Yeah,
I
Oh.
hate winter.
my wife asked me
Y'all
if I
y'all
had
can
any-
keep all that white crap up there. I don't need any of it.
No. I spent
the,
one year.
the key to winter is dressing right and getting out in it. You just gotta move into it because
Billy,
it's there
when I-
anyway.
Billy, when I lived in San Antonio in '64, we got snow once.
Bet it shut the whole town down.
It did.
It does. We get snow
Yeah.
here we get a little
All right.
snow here every 4 years or so, but it's usually only at the most a quarter of an inch or so, and the next morning by 9 o'clock, it's already melted off the rooftops.
Yeah.
The
Shaking
only
And
Yeah,
I
It's
remember,
inevitable.
the only time it's just a few winters ago, 2018, we had, I think it was 2018, 2019, I don't remember. Oh, okay, so 2021 maybe. We got 4 inches of snow one day, and the temperature never rose above freezing. The next day we got another 4 inches. That shut the city down for a week.
I bet.
Houses lost
I hear
power.
you.
Oh my
Is
know
word,
what-
it was
is that
nuts.
when
You know
all
what?
of
You know what? It's 4 o'clock, and I think we've got some gallery folks online. So let's swing over to gallery. We can talk about weather, before the program and then afterwards. So, Matt, what we got for gallery?
First one up is Al. What you got, Al?
Come on, Al, let's go.
I've got nothing, but I stayed busy all week and I've got almost nothing to show. I started this. It was a log I put on the lathe and I got a nice shape. I thought the shape was nice, and then I turned it around. I got my same thing wrong with this phone again. I had my tendon broke, so the top broke, so that was the end of that one. And then I saw this video. I might have to back up. It's kind of big. Oh, yeah, right there, okay, I'll stand it. But I saw this video of perpetual motion. And they don't.
Right there you go, Al.
Right there, Al.
There we go. I'm not gonna look. I'll look at this. And it's supposed to be. I saw in the video that he spun it about 3 or 4 times, and it kept going. Now, what's on the back is 3 rubber bands. So okay, it was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna show that. I'm gonna make that. I'm gonna show that. Everybody will have a fan in their shop for free. But I got the motion, but no, it just doesn't want to cooperate.
Okay,
So,
Al, I built that before, and those points have to be more uniform to 120 degrees each.
these.
Those 2 have to be lower. The 2 sides have to be lower.
Okay,
They
okay,
have them on a center. They have to go down 30 degrees.
So your
okay.
angle has to be 120 degrees between each rubber band set.
From this
Each
to
of your
this.
dowel- Each of your dowel
Well,
points.
I mean, would
120.
it just be from this to this then? This to this.
Yeah, so
120
you've
all.
got 90, 90, and 180. They all have to be 120.
Yeah, well, they're all right in the middle of the board. I wasn't thinking about any geometry or
Yep, the angles have to be exact or it won't work.
anything.
I built one, I built one a long time ago and it was a beautiful piece of, and it was sold at a little auction for a fundraiser. But
Uh-huh.
it spin for probably half an hour, 45 minutes until a crossbreed would stop it.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. I thought the video was pretty cool. I figured I'd give it a go, but yeah, I'll play around with that. I have a bearing. I have a bearing in it. So the wood turning was this front plate, the spindle, and the back plate. I said, okay, that's enough. And I said, oh, anyways, thank you for that. Oh, geez, well, so that's two things. Now, here's something that's pretty cool. My buddy, is actually my mentor, Dave Robinson. He's lives down in Leesburg area, but he showed me how to make this. It's an 8-point. He calls it his octopod, and what it is well, you have your 4 points here on the top, and then you have 4 points on the bottom. But if you can see how they're opposite of each other, see how the square turned,
Yeah.
and it's a really cool project. I mean, this is so. I thought I had this camera thing all messed up, but anyways, I have another here. Maybe I can show. Yeah. You put a tenon on the bottom. Put a tenon on the bottom. Let's see. Yep. Here's a block of wood. Maybe I do it better. As you can see, I have from center to center. This is a 45-degree. It'll be a slice you put on your table saw, and what that does, now you can see and again, you only make a slice half of what your block is. Make a slice just halfway to where your block is, and okay, so you figure you're gonna make a slice on these corners. So here, what you do is you make a tenon as your as oh, this is crazy. Your block is your block is like this, and you make those slices, and then you put a tenon on the bottom immediately. You put a tenon on the bottom, and then you start going into the center. You start going into the center as it's spinning. You go into the center, and it starts creating. It starts creating the bevel. So I could go up and down, I can figure out. But here you start working your way into the center, and as you're turning the middle, those little blocks that you made that slice on, they fly off. They fly off, and it creates the bottom foot, which I thought was pretty cool. I thought
that's a great idea. That's a nice job.
And yeah, my buddy Dave, he calls it his octopod. And like I said, it's pretty neat, I thought.
That's a great idea. I love it.
Yeah.
Now, is Ruby here? Is Ruby on?
No.
Not
Ruby?
yet.
Last week, I heard her say 2 times. I heard her at Doug's Live, then I heard her last week here. Where's my broom? Where's my broom? And here, I come in the shop today, and this low rider broom,
Right. There you go.
it's not
Very fitting.
walnut, maple. And yeah, it's a low rider. I was wondering if that was Ruby's.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna be killed.
Oh, she's been looking for a broom.
Oh,
I
has
heard her say
Yeah.
it twice this week. Where's my broom? And it was sitting over here. I'm wondering if this was hers. Anyways, I hope to hear from her. And everybody have a good night. Thank you so much.
Great job, Al.
Very, very cool. Nice work, Al.
Okay, you guys all be good.
Yep, you too.
You too, Al.
Next up is Roger.
You guys all be good.
What you got, Roger?
Okay, I've been trying a in-grain bowl.
That had to be a
There is
challenge.
another one.
I'm not quite done. I still got a little bit of work to do on the bottom, on the inside. But this was some of the free wood that I got last weekend. So,
That's beautiful.
still have my tenon down here, nice and solid. So it does have some cracks in it though here, and there's one up here. But I'm not gonna worry about them.
Looks great.
Yeah, it looks good, Roger.
Very nice.
Yeah, very
And then
nice.
I've got my little pumpkin man.
Cute.
What's he carrying? Oh, that's cool.
There you go.
There you go.
I like
Nice.
I love it.
Very nice.
So. And I'm working on my other snowman yet, so, or I'm drawing, not even drawn out now, so.
I love that bowl.
I like it too. I've never done an in-grain bowl like this. I mean, this is deeper than I thought it would be. But the way the blank was cut, I could have gotten two small regular bowls out of it, but I thought, well, let's try something different. So,
Yeah, very nice.
What did you say that wood was?
walnut.
What did you say that wood was? That's what I thought. Yeah, beautiful. Love
Yeah.
it.
Like I say, the inside, I just need to get, about the bottom third, I need to thin it out a little bit more. That's a little deeper than what I used to do it.
Very cool, Roger.
Don't forget to send pictures of it for the newsletter.
When it's done. So, all right.
Thanks, Roger. Next
Mhm.
up is Dave. What you got, Dave?
Come
Well,
on. What's on the table?
I got more time in the shop than usual this week. And this is the one I consider this a failure because this gave me fits, but the rest of the bowl came out nice. It's just cherry. And this one I did a little better on, but I didn't try to do a ring on it.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
And this one I tried something different instead of being raised. I tried to figure it would have the same function if it was recessed.
Very nice.
Yeah, it gives the
To be
fingers
something
something to
different.
grab a hold of.
I like it.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of time in the garage.
Oh,
3 years
I
old?
did. The wife left me alone all day Saturday.
Wow.
Very nice.
4 big bowls.
And those were all cherry. And then I had another ugly piece that was laying on the floor in my shop. And this is maple.
That's
Wow.
There you go.
I love
And I
it.
felt bad. I lost a couple pieces of bark there. It was a
The
little
feature.
better,
The
but
feature.
yeah,
Yep.
beautiful
Yeah.
feature.
Definitely has character.
It's beautiful.
Put some
But,
M&Ms in that.
oh yeah, I was able to
Got a
keep the
quick-
feather.
Got a quick dispenser. Yeah. I
Oh
like
yeah, look at the
feather.
flame. Look at the flame.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. But other than that, I didn't do anything this week.
Now, when you picked that piece of wood up, Dave, did you know that there was going to be flame in it or feathering?
Oh, well, the thing is, I knew it was a crotch, and I was just hoping that I hit the right spot when I got to the right depth.
Yep.
But
It's
and
beautiful.
it's got a nice bark on the bottom too.
Oh yeah.
And what I did is the bottom is recessed more than usual. I cupped that out. I always turn with a tenon, but I cupped that out to make it a little lighter because I got to that point and I didn't want to get any deeper because I was afraid I'd lose that
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Very good.
Yeah, it was a fun week.
Looks like it.
Great job.
Very cool.
Okay,
Thanks,
thanks a lot.
Dave.
Yep, take care.
Yep. Next up is Jim.
Oh,
What you
yeah.
got, Jim?
Uh, Well,
Glad I'm
I
not
showed,
following him.
I showed these salt shakers before. You've seen these. And I thought that'd be interesting to make one out of plastic or here's the thing with a plexiglass.
Hmm.
Show them how it works, eh?
So you can see how the salt
Oh,
works.
okay. Right.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Damnedest thing is you find out it doesn't work. It took me 15 minutes to get this much salt in it. When you turn this over and fill it with salt, you only get this much salt. I mean, you get 11 grains or something. So you have to turn it on an angle like this and put salt in here. And when you fill that little cavity, bang it down and then keep doing that. If it's inside wood, you don't see that. But when you do this and you get a dusting on the bottom, you don't get enough salt to do anything.
Yeah, I thought of that
So
too.
you got to make that the bottom of that or the top of the cavity wider.
It should be a dome, yeah.
Yeah,
But also,
yeah.
the way to fill it is to turn it, so this salt is just below the hole. And then you can pour salt in here and fill that cavity and work this back and forth. It takes you 15 minutes to fill this thing. It's not great. But anyway, it
Interesting.
Pretty.
shows that it works.
Very
Acrylic's
cool.
gorgeous. You can polish it and whatever. I hate the smell of it and shavings, but it's a nice piece.
There you go.
Put a
Very
tiny
cool.
little snowman inside.
You got it. I gotta figure a better way to fill it or put more of a dome. I don't know what I'll do, but anyway, if it's inside wood, you would never know this. But when you do this, you don't get an eighth of what's down here. I mean, you get a dusting.
Yeah. So why did you do a post rather than a cone for your interior piece?
The interior is a post.
Yeah, but the way I did it in the demo, I did it as a cone, and it tends to direct the grains more into the center when you shake it. So why did you do it as a post rather than as a cone?
You mean a cone on the top?
On the inside.
No, the shape
in here.
instead of it being straight,
Yeah,
make
the
it a
shape
cone.
of the post on the inside.
Oh, on the post itself?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the post. So on my interior, I've got a cone rather than a post.
Oh, I figured if I didn't cone the bottom, I could get more in there.
I
I've
see.
got the
Okay.
same size top. That's what I was gonna do originally. And I figured if I did a cone, I was taking away from the salt cavity.
I
Right.
understand. Okay. Okay.
It doesn't make any difference, Matt. You can't get enough salt in there to do anything. You need a screw.
Interesting.
You need a screw in the top or a screw in the side to pour the salt in, then it worked great.
The
But
larger cavity. I love it.
Well,
Or you
inside,
make the cone.
you'd never
or
know
you
it.
make the
But
cone pop in and out. Make the cone pop in and out like how I do mine.
Yeah.
you could do that, yeah, that'd be good too, yeah. Anyway. Further developments
Well
are,
done. I
further developments are coming, okay?
like it with the clear poly so you can see the action of what's going on.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
Good
great
trick.
idea.
Interesting, yeah, when you shake it, you can actually see what's happening.
Yeah. How much
So
salt you
did
got
you
on
make
your
the
fence there?
did you make the acrylic, Jim, or did you buy that blank?
Yeah, I know. I bought an acrylic rod. Years ago, I made rocket ships. Here's one coming. Rita, my assistant is getting one now.
Hi, Rita.
I made these I don't know if you can see through here.
Yeah, the kaleidoscope rocket.
Oh, cool.
Anyway, and I turn those cones, and inside here is the objects. And then there's this is a 2-mirror 5-point kaleidoscope. But the theme was up and away, and there's a hole next to the eyepiece where there's a rod goes in, a brass rod, and this sits on a stand like this going up. Oh, here.
Cool.
Thank you, assistant. Anyway, it looks like this.
Awesome.
Fun.
And
Nice.
but the acrylic turns beautiful. This here has to be optically, you're looking through this thing from the inside. So it's got to be pretty good. We only made 40 of these, though. Anyway.
That's really pretty, Joe.
Yeah, these went all over the world.
What do you mean 2.5? What would you say kind of mirror points you had on the inside of that?
If you have three mirrors in a kaleidoscope,
right,
you get all reflections of triangles.
Right.
If you have 2 mirrors and a black side,
okay,
you get a mandala. The angle of the mirrors divided into 360 gives you the number of points on the star, on the mandala.
Okay, yeah.
If it's a 60 point, you get a 6-point star. Okay?
That'd be kind of weird looking through that one.
Yeah, I can't show you. I don't think I can show you.
yeah, you probably can. Yes.
You can see in there, yeah.
Anyway, not in focus.
Is there anybody besides me whose face is right up on their screen trying to
Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
I saw some 50s pinup girls in there.
Oh yeah. That's the other one. No,
I know,
we've got.
I've seen some like that up at Nellie Bly.
Yeah, she's got a couple of my scopes. It's interesting. Mirror configurations are interesting because if you go to 2 mirrors and a black side, you can do, like I said, you divide this angle into 360. When you get down to 12, it goes in there 20 times, or so, you get a 20-point star, which is beautiful. But the mirrors so close together, you got a really small eye hole. If you have a square, if you have a square, 2 mirrors, and 2 black sides, you get a chorus line. They reflect out. Okay. You can do all kinds. If you get a U shape of mirrors and a black side, you get a chorus line that reflects out, and a reflection of that. Anyway. You can go nuts doing this, as I've proven.
So okay, you're gluing three 2 mirrors and something black. So that something black, is that the mirror turned backwards? That would be the doll color?
No, it could be a black piece of cardboard. It could be a black anything.
But it gets glued together. I mean, I know it goes into the cylinder and stuff, and you don't want it falling apart. So okay, all right. Okay.
You hot melt glue them, or you tape them, or you do.
Right.
There's all kinds of ways of putting them together, but I don't know. That'll show. Wait, let me show one more time. I'll try one more time.
That's the chorus line.
This is a chorus line lit inside.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that is
very cool.
Yeah, I see it.
That is cool.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. I love that.
That's very cool, Jim.
Anyway.
Yeah, very cool. How did you do it?
This has batteries in the handle. It has lights and screw-in light bulbs.
This is the regular mirror.
And then regular too.
Which he's gonna come here.
You went from a salt shaker to a
From a salt
kaleidoscope.
shaker to a kaleidoscope. This is a regular kaleidoscope.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can
Cool.
get it.
Oh, yeah.
It's not focusing, but anyway, it has lights in it.
Oh my.
That is awesome.
Look at that.
That's beautiful.
That is
Yeah.
beautiful.
Wow.
The objects float in oil, so they don't just flop around. They're flowing.
That's one good camera there.
Well, some days it works, some days you wonder. Anyway. So these are by lighting from the viewing side. In a kaleidoscope, light goes down through the objects and then it goes down through the mirrors. If you put a regular, like a coin in a regular kaleidoscope, you see a black, there's my gorgeous camera. Look at the thing. Anyway, you see a black disc. You're looking at the dark side of the disc. By lighting from inside, these are coins and these are clock gears and clock parts.
Oh, that's neat.
I don't know what's wrong with this camera. I can't. Damn thing. It needs a kick, I think.
Are you using Al's camera?
Yeah.
I know you can.
Go ahead. Dorothy, the
The
kaleidoscope.
focus is fine about 2 feet, about a foot in. That looks really nice.
The
We
kaleidoscope.
see it. We saw it good, Jim.
There.
Back now.
No, I was trying to get the camera back. It broke the camera. Anyway,
Back now. Good.
It's all great.
It's good now.
anyway, by lighting on the inside, you can show solid objects like coins, gears, shells, all kinds of things like that. Lots of fun. But
Okay.
if you ever try this, make sure you get cast. You have to get cast, not extruded rod. The extruded is too soft, it won't polish. You have to get
Okay.
cast. Okay. Better ones are coming.
Thank you, Jim.
Sure.
Next up is our buddy Doug. What you got,
Hello.
Doug?
Hey, Doug.
Hey, everybody. It is good to be with you tonight. First thing I want to show you is kind of a repeat, but it's a redone repeat. I did this a while back and I pulled it out for a craft show and I had bubbles on it. Never have quite figured out what caused the bubbles, but I redid it, took it down to bare wood, redid it with the two purples and the water and the white and all that, and it came out quite nice. We're still in lacquer on that one. I think I've got 5 coats on it. I'm going to probably put, I don't know, I may go as
10
high
more?
as 10 more coats. I'll put a bunch on that. And then yesterday, I'd been hearing that you could do that same technique on a vase, on a vertical surface. You
Ooh.
can.
Oh,
You
wow.
can.
beautiful.
Now I did have this in the lathe, so it was horizontal when I did it, and I did strips. Put water on one side, the purple, the other side was the white. And as we were talking about it later, it was discussed that we should be able to do it with the vase vertical. You think about water on your windows or on your car glass, and I'm going to be very gentle with this one because it's still got.
So would you get sagging on the droplets then if you did that? Would things distort a little bit?
That's the hope.
Okay.
This one was done vertical. I just sprayed it. It's still wet with water, and you can see where some of the water dripped or came down the sides there, which is a normal kind of thing. So I'm not worried about it. But again, I did sprayed it with water, and I sprayed my dark paint up and the white paint down so that I get the natural kind of effect with it. So that is, like I said, that's still, the water is still wet. It'll wait till tomorrow and then it'll start getting lacquer, hopefully first thing in the morning, along with these other 2 pieces. So maybe tomorrow I'll get these other 2 done and then this other one will be done Friday, I hope. So anyway, and the bowl and the first vase are already, JJ, you've already got the pictures.
Cool.
Very cool.
Thanks, guys.
What do you think happened with the bubbling?
I've got two theories. One, I didn't wait for the base coat of paint to dry enough before I started adding all the other stuff. I don't remember how long it was. The other theory, I may have sanded it all the way to 320 and not put sanding sealer on it. Sanding sealer under paint acts as a primer, gives it something to grab into. So if I sanded it too fine and then put the paint on it, it didn't stick. So where it bubbled up, it was not stuck to the wood at all. It just flaked off. So it was a really strange situation, and it looks and feels better now than it ever did the first time. So here's for hoping.
There you go. You put sanding sealer on it this time though, right?
Yes. All three of these have sanding sealer on the bare wood before we started with the first color paint. I can show you real quick. They're both right here. This is the, you can almost tell what color that is. It's a light violet. What do they call that?
The lavender or plum or something like that. Myrtle?
Something. Oh, there it is. That's the Rust-Oleum American Accents 2X Ultra Cover French Lilac. That's the base color. So it's a light lilac color.
Yeah.
And then the shadow color is a purple, same paint, but in a gloss purple. And then of course the light source is white. So that's what I used.
So you weren't using an airbrush, you were using the rattle cans to do all that?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, no
very
airbrush.
cool.
Because I didn't want airbrush because I don't want it. I wanted a paint so the water could sit on top of it and not have the opportunity to soak into the wood.
Understood.
Okay.
Very cool. Thanks,
Thanks,
Doug.
guys. Thank you all.
All right. Next up is Jeff. Except we're going to switch to this one instead. What you got, Jeff?
Hold on. I had to click a thing on the screen. Okay, this is a bowl I turned a couple years ago. It's been set in my shop because I haven't finished it yet because it had some problems in the bottom. This is severely spalted maple, ambrosia maple. I love working with this stuff, but it is funky. And so down in here, I don't know if you can see it too well. It's really rough in here. Very hard to get it smooth. But I'm working on it. The bottom is really a mess, as you can see, pretty much in the camera. The tenon broke off. It's since I did this that I started just automatically using a glue block for severely spalted woods. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this cleaned up. I'm going to do a mixture of 50-50 resin and acetone and paint it in, let it soak in. That's what I generally do with this really funky stuff. And then I'll go in with a scraper and gently smooth it out. Then I'll put it back on the glue block to work on this, on the bottom. And if it doesn't get too thin, I'm at a 1/2 inch bottom right now. If it gets too thin, what I'll probably end up doing is just taking the bottom off and put it on an opposing piece of wood, like bloodwood or something like that. I've done that a couple times too. So, but that's an ongoing project.
Yeah,
That's
looks
really
good,
pretty.
Jeff.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks, Jeff. Next up, Billy says he's got something.
Well, I had two successful projects this week. I got that multicolored vase that I made buffed out, and it came out really pretty. JJ's got the pictures. And I finished that mushroom box as well, and JJ has the pictures of that. Unfortunately, I can't show them tonight because they're off to the customers. I'd started working on this earlier last week and early this week. It was just a bowl from a board, and it was coming along pretty nice, and then it blew apart on me. If you've seen my Facebook pictures, you've seen it. But
Yes.
I've been following you on that, yeah.
no glue seams, whatsoever. You can't see a seam where
You
it
did a
came
nice
apart.
job.
I glued it back together, and it was oh so nice until it wasn't.
Oh, my goodness.
But if you can, it is thin. I mean, like
Yeah, it is.
it 1.5 millimeters at one spot, and at 2 millimeters at the most, all the way down. It's
Wow.
just and it didn't like being that thin. I got the inside done and got Mylan's sanding sealer on it. That's why it's got some shine. And I was working on the back, almost had it shaped, and it hit that one spot that it didn't like, and it's got split. There's a split all the way down to here. There's another one all the way down to here. So in the burn pit it went. This is
Well, it held up pretty good going into the burn pit.
Right. I mean, you know.
well, yeah, I didn't throw it. I just laid it in there. But I had this glued to a waste block that I had on a faceplate. I keep waste blocks on a couple of faceplates, and they're relatively thick waste blocks. And so what I did is I used that thin brown paper that they send you with in Amazon sometimes. Looks like this. Now the thicker stuff, you don't need to use 2 layers. You can use one and it'll come apart. But that thin stuff, you need to use 2 layers. So I've got just regular Titebond in between the 2 pieces of paper, and Titebond in between the paper and the waste block and the paper in here. And then you just tap a chisel and they just come right apart. So that's a great way of holding things. A tip for those that are worried about it, and you don't have to or trying to find a way to hold something, and you don't have to. You don't really even have to have the waste block bolted to or screwed to. I use lag screws to a faceplate. You can actually make your waste block with a tenon on it or a mortise, either one, but a tenon on it that fits in your chuck, and then you can still do the same thing. So if you don't have jaws the right size for whatever you're wanting to do, this is a very viable option, and it worked great. It was harder to get this off than it was to do this. And the reason this failed, and it's the reason it's so thin, is my fault. It was a design flaw. These rings are only 5/8 of an inch thick. And I cut the first one at 65 degrees, the second one at 55, and the last one at 45, because I wanted more of a traditional bowl shape than a straight V. And that works out well enough if you've got enough material at the seams, at the overlap, to work with. A 3/4 inch thick piece would have been a lot better, because I'd have had about 1/8 of an inch here to work with instead of a 1/16 or 2 millimeters. So it was my fault. It was prone to disaster from the beginning just because of design flaws. But sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug.
Yeah.
This week I was the bug.
Billy, where it broke, did it break where it broke the first time? Or is that a separate area?
No, completely separate area.
Yeah.
It's in grain too.
Yes. Well, it looks like end grain. The boards, the long grain runs this way.
Yeah.
So you got long grain to long grain glued up this way. And again, because the boards are running this way, you've got long grain to long grain on these seams. So it looks like it's end grain, but it really isn't. It was a long grain joint.
No, not the joint. The piece that broke out is end grain, and that's weak.
Yeah.
That's weak. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's end grain right there.
Yep.
So, but it didn't break at the glue joint.
No,
There's still wood above it.
but
So
end
the-
grain, an 1/8 inch thick is not very strong.
No, but it didn't, like I said, it didn't break at the glue joint. There's still wood attached
Yeah,
from the piece that
yeah.
flew off to the top of there. But so the glue held and the joint held. It's just that the wood said no.
Hmm.
Nice job
Well,
anyway.
it's the way it goes sometimes. It was gonna be pretty.
No,
It's still pretty. Gotta be a way to save that.
Design
Oh,
piece.
Billy, can you explain one thing? Okay, now I've watched your videos and I've made the jig and stuff, and I used I think inch material I more and
Yeah.
but anyway,
Three quarter or
okay,
1
so-
inch is the right way to go.
Okay, so what was your sequence when you glued them together? Were you just what, a ½ inch off? I mean, what were your what are your woods? And okay, so how
Oh,
did
you mean when
how
I-
did you turn them
when I
you were
turned
gluing
it?
Yeah, when you
You
were
mean-
gluing it together, what was it? What was the sequence?
They're
You
centered.
mean when I'm turning them?
Yeah, yes, no,
For the angle?
when you were gluing them together in order to make your pattern.
They're centered.
I had it like this.
Right.
No. I had it like
I'm
this.
talking about each ring. When you put each ring together on top of each other, how did you
Yeah.
shift it? How
Oh, okay,
yeah,
that's
how
what I
did
thought
shift
you
it
were
to make the
asking.
design? Yeah, I'm sorry,
I-
my
it-
stupidity.
Okay, it don't look like it right now because material has been removed. But what I did was I lined, this is the centerpiece, this 3/4 inch wide piece of African mahogany. And so what I did was the next ring, I shifted it to the left so that this corner of this piece aligned with the opposing corner of the same piece. I didn't use any math or anything.
No, okay, yeah, okay, I see it.
I
see it,
just shifted it. So I made sure that in sequence, this corner lined up with the opposing corner here, and this corner lined up with the opposing corner here.
Uh-huh.
And then I did that every time, same. So
Right.
just shifted one board. Sometimes I will shift them on the thin board instead of the thick one. It just depends on how much twist you want it to have.
Right.
And I wanted this one to have quite a bit of twist, so I shifted it about 3/4 of an inch. But again, no math. I just used, and the way I always do it is I just use the boards themselves and put it where I think it looks good.
It did.
So
that's really cool. Yeah, your video is really cool in that too. It really is.
Thanks. And this video will be coming out next week.
Very
Failure
cool.
and all.
That'll be good.
Yeah, it'll be good for sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna go next. This is a little work in progress. It's an apple shape that I still have more work to do. It's got a lid that pivots on a pin.
There you go.
So it's just got a steel pin in there and it pivots, and it's matched. I have work to do on that. And this is a piece that I turned in a class teaching. It's end grain cherry. The pith is like right here. So you can see how it is it's in the log like this, right? So and it was turned so that we did it this way so that I could get the heartwood and the sapwood in it. So when I turn this, the way I teach it is you set your foot up, you set your foot diameter up, and then you set your rim up, and then that lets you. I'm having the same problem somebody else did last week, and then this sets your target for the curve. So you've got a regular curve, a catenary curve that goes from this point to this point, but you got to set those points first so you know where to put your curve in. And then I was also demonstrating using a burning wire here and here and then the acrylic burning wire here. And I brought it home from the class to finish it, and I get this crack in the middle while it was on the vacuum chuck. So, but the finish is a CA glue finish. So
Very good.
Pretty piece, Matt.
Nice
Thank
shape,
you.
Matt.
yeah, I mean it's just a little bowl. It's a good example bowl, but
Right.
birdie.
Got some nice
so-
feathering in it.
Yeah, thanks. So Dane, do you want to do the tip, or should we go to some of the other gallery?
Yeah, we can keep doing gallery.
Okay, so next up is Ruby then. Here. What you got, Ruby?
Okay, this was one of the first platters I ever did. What I did was I took 3 boards of poplar and I glued them together. And you can see the 3 boards right there. And then that was just brush painted to put a design on it.
Pretty.
And then the inside,
Oh my.
I oil painted it.
Wow, beautiful, Ruby.
Wow.
That is
beautiful.
sexy as fuck on a rooster, I'm telling you.
But it's a tray basically is all it is.
Beautiful.
No, it's a work of art.
Yeah, yes, I mean, it's so inspiring.
To me, that's a wall hanging, not a tray.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Well,
Yeah,
it works quite well as a tray.
Hey, Ruby,
Yep.
what is the background, the black? Is that acrylic or what?
It's an acrylic paint. That's all it is.
How did you treat the wood before you put that on? Did you put a sanding sealer on it or what?
Yeah, I usually put a sanding sealer on first. Now, when it came to this part, I put a sanding sealer on, and then the shading in that was just done with a brush.
Wow.
It's a very good effect. It looks antique or old or whatever. Nice.
Yeah.
So is all that acrylic also?
Yeah, this was all acrylic, but on the inside, the berries and the leaves were done in oil.
Oh, okay.
I could have done them in acrylic, but
gorgeous.
I couldn't do them in anything.
you know what? You're absolutely wrong. All you have to do is be taught how to do it properly, and yes, you can do it. I wasn't born with this skill already there. I spent hours taking classes and learning and practicing. And it's the same as when you started turning. You didn't know how to turn before you took your first lesson. And look where you've come from when you first picked up a tool. So all of this stuff is stuff you could learn if you really want. It's how much do you want to learn it?
Ruby, did you put anything on top of all that?
Very true.
Actually, no, this one I didn't.
Okay.
So
That's
beautiful job. Beautiful
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Oh my yes! Bring it up, Earl. Bring it up. Oh yeah!
Very amazing. Everything is amazing.
My
Yeah,
God, Ruby.
the shading,
Beautiful.
everything. Just
Beautiful.
awesome.
okay.
Yep. Nice
Yeah,
job, Ruby.
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
While we got Ruby on, let's get Al on.
I was hoping. I didn't know how I was going to explain it.
Yeah, Al's got something to show you.
Al has to start his video.
Mention it.
You there, Al?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, he's going to collect it.
Over there in shop. Wait. I'm sorry. I'm
There
sorry.
we go.
Ruby. Ruby, I heard you say twice last week. I heard you at Doug's live. Where's my broom? And then you said last week, where's my broom? I come here today. Now, here's a low rider. Here's a low rider broom. Is this
Oh,
one?
that's perfect. That's excellent.
Is this one? Okay. It was in here, so live maple. So this one's yours then.
Okay, that's great. I'll be all set for Halloween then. I just have to add a few headlights and things to the front.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think it's a 4 on the floor and a 4-barrel carburetor. I think it says fuel injected with positive traction. So,
Oh, great.
Yeah. It doesn't have a catalytic
Carburetor and
converter
fuel
because it got
injection, that's
stolen.
the new one.
That's great. Thank you very much, Al.
so thank you very much, Ruby. Thank you very much.
Goodness.
Thank you all. Next up is Ray.
Good evening.
We got Ray.
Hey, I'm here.
Yep.
We got you,
What
Ray.
got?
Hey, it's been several months since I've been on. Been a little
Been
lazy,
busy.
other projects and stuff. But I tried my hand at holoform. I've never done that before. I've always been, for the most part, doing segmented. So this is my first holoform.
Oh, well done.
Thanks.
Very nice.
It was a piece of cherry. It's just full of worms and cracked. And I thought, well, why not give it a try? And it came out pretty good. And
Yes, it
I
did.
had a lot of filling to do on it. You can see all the worm holes.
Yeah, you did a good job on it.
Well, for my first one, I was pretty pleased with it. And I've got another piece now on the lathe I'm going to work on. So
They are addicting.
we'll see how that goes. But and today I finished this bowl. I don't know what the wood is. It was awful. Let me check something here. Okay, there we go. It was awful hard, and it was kind of just fogwood. But it thought it was pretty plain bowl. I put my
Wow.
name on the bottom of it.
Kind of looks like elm.
It doesn't look to me
It
like
might
it
be
was
elm.
plain.
It might be
No.
elm.
Show us some of the
No, it
grain
doesn't
close
look
up.
plain to me either. Nice grain
Show
in
us,
there.
show us some of the grain close up.
All right.
Yeah, I can't really see it.
You can see it. It looks fantastic.
Drop
Yeah.
it down a little. Down. That's better.
Wow.
No, it's got
well,
beautiful.
grain.
It's got beautiful
Nice
grain
grain.
to it.
Yeah.
It does.
That could be elm. That could be elm. Siberian elm.
Okay. I won't argue because I don't know, but I thought it
No,
needed a little embellishment. So
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
your segment.
That's
there's
cool.
That's
I
it.
had to have a segment in there.
I know. Right?
There you go.
Oh, that's great.
Love it.
Very well
That's
done.
all.
Wow.
Call it
And
cube wood.
the finish on that's just Milan's polish.
Oh, that's
So that's all I've got for this week. Maybe next week I'll have another holoform that I've done. By the way, about 2 months ago, I showed a open segment bowl that I'd completed with kind of an Indian design. Maybe most of you, some of you at least remember that. I did enter that into the New Mexico State Fair. I won a blue ribbon with that bowl and the judge's choice. So I was real happy with that.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Congrats, Ray.
Congratulations.
Presently, it's in the Albuquerque airport, along with 4 or 5 other bowls that I've done on display. So I'm real happy with that.
I don't blame you.
As you should be.
Heck yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, and we'll
All right.
get you later.
Thank you, Ray.
Beautiful.
All right. It's almost top of the hour here. Let's give a Heidi ho to Safety Sue. She's back, survived the mean old hurricane. Let's get her safety moment on.
Hi there. Yes, I survived. It was crazy that night.
Yeah, I bet.
We had 115-mile gusts here and hurricane force winds. I had just gotten shuttered, so thank you, Lord. Only branches came down around my house, but next door for Abervity, which are about 20 feet tall, are leaning at about 45 degrees. So we're gonna
Yeah, those don't handle storms well.
Yeah. Well, you know, they've been there for 40 years, so I mean, come on. That's pretty good. So we're going to be cutting some of those down, and I looked it up and it's in the cedar family, white cedar family. So
cool.
It is. It's soft.
Yeah, well, you know, little boxes or something. But while I was, and I know I've brought this up before, but I'm going to, because of the storms and all the wood that people are collecting during the height of the storm, I'm thinking, boy, if something falls down, I'm going to get some wood. And I did. I got some camphor and some red elm, but in all the devastation, everything is fogwood unless you know what that wood is. Some woods can be toxic, maybe to the touch, maybe for breathing the dust if some people don't have their face masks or respirators on. Be careful of what you do pick up. And be mindful that if you put it right on the lathe, your lathe is going to get a shower. But we have devastation on 40% of the United States because of Helene and because of Milton. So folks, be careful out there. Keep yourselves safe out there. And know what you're doing if you're going to be picking up wood. Be safe, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Sue.
All right.
Thanks, Sue.
Thank
you,
you.
Sue.
Thank you, Sue.
All right. Well, let's move on over to our presenter for the evening. We got Mr. Jeff Walters who's doing a demonstration for us. It's going to be his demonstration. Please keep your comments and questions until the end of the demonstration, unless Jeff wants to solicit participation from us. Jeff, I am going to mute everybody, and you will need to unmute yourself.
Okay.
So
Can you hear me
unmute
okay?
yourself. I got you.
Okay. If you can go up to my main screen first.
Your phone?
No, where you can see me. My scary face.
There we go.
There I am. Okay. Hi, everybody. About 6-7 months ago, I popped in for a couple of meetings, and one of the things that you guys asked me to, I was talking about a whiskey smoker that I make and sell, and you guys asked me to demonstrate it, and I did. And that was this unit. Get back here in the light. And so what I'm going to do tonight is show you how I make them. I am not going to get into the laser engraving because that's another part of the house. But this is an idea I got from Heather at Spirit Wind, and she had told me that it's not her idea. She got it from somebody else. But I've sold a lot of them. They're probably like my #1 thing outside of pens when I do shows. Let me get that out of the way. So tonight, what we're going to do is I'm approaching this like I do when I normally teach. I do everything on a vacuum chuck except for the final drilling. When I teach, I approach it from the fact that not everybody's got vacuum chucks, not everybody's got fancy tools and stuff. So what I'm using tonight is my coal jaws. my regular jaws, and I generally turn these with carbides. This is a set of just cheap Chinese carbides I got off of Banggood. And when I got them, the first thing I did was I replaced the carbides in them with carbides from AZ Carbide in Grand Rapids, which is Ron Campbell, a good buddy of mine. Great product. That's what I use. You can also use a 3/8" bowl gouge, or I've also used a 3/8" spindle gouge, the Robert Sorby Micro, which I use for pens a lot. So that's generally the tools that you need. And you'll see a couple others I'm going to use. Let me get stuff moved around here. And then I'm going to have you switch me over to the phone.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Okay, great. So I generally, when I make these, I use red oak, 3/4" red oak that I get from Lowe's. I just go buy a plank of it and I'll batch out 10 to 15 of these at a time. I've also used cherry, and I've used white oak. This is a piece of maple I've got. I think it's going to serve the purpose. A little thicker than I normally use, but it's I think it'll be fine. I cut it 4 inches square on the bandsaw. I'm trying to see. I'm having a problem with the camera now. I cut it 4 inches square on the bandsaw. Then I take the corners off, and then the rest I do on the lathe. So we're going to get this mounted in. And the first thing I want to do, since we're not using the vacuum chuck, is to set up a mortise, not a tenon. You can do a tenon, but you're wasting a lot of material away. So the mortise is something you can leave in. So I'm just marking this. Okay. Get my headgear on. And I'm turning at 600 RPM. And we don't go very deep, usually about 1/8 of an inch. And I use my skew to create a dovetail. Okay, so that's it for the scroll jaws for right now. Now what we're going to do, we're going to create a dimple. Now we're gonna turn this around to get rid of the rough edges. And I'm gonna do that at about 1,000 RPM. Round off the bottom just a little bit. You know, that looks almost. That looks pretty good. Now, with the dimple we put in this, now what we're going to do is we're going to make a little mark that is just kind of a reference point for when we start shaping. That's a 1-inch mark.
Yeah, and I understand that completely, and I'm not telling.
Co-host. Thank you.
Got it.
Thank you.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to start shaping this down. We want this to be a little bit of a hump here, standing up proud from the rest of it. So we're going to take this down because this is such a large, thick piece. I'm going to take it down about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch.
Computer.
Now, there's no great science to this. You just kind of eyeball what you want the final shape to be. And when I taught this, I'd had students that come up with some really interesting ideas. One gentleman last year, matter of fact, I called him Picasso because it was such an odd shape. And that is really what there is to the shaping. It's a very easy project to do. Then comes the fun part. I generally will go through all the grits from 80 to about 320. I'm not going to do them all tonight, but this is where you can get rid of a lot of the lines, tool marks. Because I'm not so great with my tools that I don't have tool marks. And when I'm batching these out, I will generally, believe it or not, I'll power sand them just because I get it done faster. And the edges here is where a lot of the sanding will take place.
Now don't go too fast, Jeff.
I know. Any questions so far?
No, none so far.
Okay. Well, like I said, this is not a complicated, difficult project. Get my dimple back in there. Drop my ruler. Okay. We'll go through just a couple more grits. I don't have my compressor on because it's right next to the lathe here. So there's the basic shape.
Hey, Jeff, how far down did you turn that to? About a half inch there?
This is, yep, it's about a half inch there. So that makes this about 3/8 of an inch from there down to here.
Right
And like
on.
I said, there's no rules. You can go thinner if you want. I've done them as much as a 1/4 inch thick. It just depends on, you know, how much use you expect to get out of them. The more meat you got on them, the longer they last. My
then
smoker
what-
upstairs,
And then what was the diameter of the blank again that you started with?
4 inches.
4 inches. That's what I thought. 4 inches,
That's the
folks.
standard I go with, yeah, because that fits over most glasses.
Yeah. So 4 by 3/4 inch. What he started with, everyone.
Yep, yep. I also don't do any kind of I've seen them in bars where they have ridges on them where they set into the glass and they won't move around. That's all fine and dandy. The problem is bars all have one size glasses. Not everybody has one size glasses, so I just make them flat. Oh. So now I'm going to take that, let's think here. I'm not going to take that mortise out yet. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to start sizing it for the drill. I use, these are carbide Forstner bits. I use a 5/8 and a 1/2 inch. And that lets me develop a seat for the screen, screen, and then also a hole to go all the way through. So of course your smoke goes down into your glass. And we always drill the larger of the two first.
So the smaller one is the one that goes all the way through?
Yes, the 1/2
Thank
inch
you.
goes all the way through. The 5 inch, we're just creating a seat for the screen. And the screen are these little pipe screens. I just get them off of Amazon. Oh, they're 5/8 inch wide. So I've got it set back down to 500 RPM, which is what I do all my drilling at. And boy, I'm not used to not having my respirator on and not having the dust collector going. And we're just going to go in about 1/8 of an inch. fits perfect. And now the moment of truth, going all the way through, which is the one point where I don't use a vacuum chuck for obvious reasons. And I'm going to take it real slow so that when I get to the bottom, I'm not pushing all that mass out and causing a lot of splintering. You'll get a little bit, but it can be quickly sanded off, so it's not really noticeable. And I don't know if you can pick it up or not. Probably not, because I'm using the microphone on my AirPods, but you can actually hear as you're getting towards the end.
Yeah, Zoom's muffling it, which is
Yep.
fine.
We are almost there. And I'm just inching the wheel just very slowly. We're just about there. There it is. As you can see, there's a little bit of a push out there, and that's what I was going for. You won't get a clean cut because wood is fibrous. So what I do is I just take a little piece of, I think this is 120 grit sandpaper that I got from a pen turning kit, and I just do that there. And just fit it. Okay. Like I've done it before.
That always helps.
It does.
Get the perception and everything else falls in place.
Yeah. Now, I generally don't finish these for the simple fact I don't know if any kind of finish will cause any kind of taste or anything. But I do have customers that like to have them shiny. And my go-to thing for bowls or anything is Axe wood paste. There it is. Axe wood paste and sanding and polishing and restoring wax. This is great stuff. Tom and his wife Annette are in Pennsylvania, and they do a great job. Everything, he's really picky on everything being food safe. What this is doing, if any of you have not worked with sanding paste before, it's just getting the very fine scratches off. Up the speed a little bit. And I'm just going to do this until I buff and get nothing more on the towel. And we're getting it very warm so that it melts into the wood.
About how fast you going, Jeff?
Right now I'm going 1,000, same as what I turned at. That's usually the final speed I go at. And I've got basically not a whole lot of anything on it anymore. So I started at 500, then I went to 750, and then to 1,000.
Okay.
Then we're going to go up to the polishing and restoring. And it's roughly the same thing. I'm just letting it work in, getting it warmed up, running at 500 RPM. And then the final 1,000 RPM. And the finish is done. Can everybody see the shine on that?
Oh yeah, it's coming through.
Get a little Chatoyance there. I love Chatoyance.
Oh yeah. Pat, I'd like to buy a vowel.
So now the next thing, I want to see if I can get that mortise off.
Jeff, how deep did you go in that 5/8 hole?
1/8 of an inch deep. Just
1/8 of
enough.
an inch.
Yep, just enough for the collar of the screen to set in there.
And I would also add that you don't necessarily need to do that with the 5/8 inch hole, because that 5/8 inch rim will sit on the top of your wood.
Yes, that's true. I'm just kind of anal that way. I just like the look of it set in flesh.
Yep. Hey, it's your demo, dude.
Right.
This, I'm going to put a we're going to bring this up for obvious reasons. And for those of you who may not have ever worked with coal jaws before, you don't ever want to go over 600 RPM with them. And Matt will tell you, because I think you were with the club at the time, I was turning a bowl, turning the bottom off a bowl at about 1,300 RPM, and it came off and hit me in the head.
Ouch.
So I spent the evening in the hospital. I looked like an instant Klingon. And, but The result of that was they found a tumor which had nothing to do with the accident, and that was October of 2015. In January of 2016, I was having a tumor removed, which is
Oh,
roughly about
wow.
the time of the captain. I was kind of watching him and comparing things back and forth. He just had a much worse ride than I did. For me, the good thing that came out of the tumor was I got to retire because I couldn't do my job anymore. Oh, darn.
Right.
Yeah, Jeff's not wrong. His whole head was black and blue for 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, I literally, I looked like a Klingon. I just couldn't speak like him. Yeah, that was remember the black eyes?
Yeah, I do.
And that was on a Thursday. That Sunday we had the club meeting, and I walked in the door, and absolutely everybody knew exactly what happened before I said anything.
Yeah.
So once I saw that I was okay, then it was teasing time, and I became the first safety chairperson of the club. I had to do a thing every month on safety.
Yeah, you did a good job, Jeff. Well, and to be fair, this was years and years ago, Jeff. I don't know how long ago it was, but it was at least 7-8 years ago. And Jeff is still.
It's 2015, October of 2015.
There you go.
Yep.
And Jeff is still with us and turning, so it was all good. So.
Still kicking. It was a learning experience. If you don't learn, there's something seriously wrong with you. And, so let's get that mortise off. Now, because I have the tailstock pulled up on this, I'm going to take it up another 100 to 700 RPM. Not anything I normally do, except for something like this when I got tailstock support. And I'm going to go very, very light. And I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm just going to kind of angle it down. I just had that 3/8" bull gouge fall off the bottom of my lathe, so I'll be sharpening the tool later.
Oh, shouldn't be setting your tools on the lathe.
Yep. See how that looks. That's pretty good. Now, when I do these, I don't have to worry about this because I don't put a mortise in. We're gonna go back down to that. And then I quickly run through the grits. This is 80 I'm starting with, and I'm not going to get real picky with this, not like I normally would. A little fuzzy there. There we go. I cannot use. I have actually had a couple friends. I have numerous friends that I hang with. We're all bourbon drinkers, and I've had a few of them where they wanted them, and they wanted them. It's kind of like one of those wink, wink, nudges. Just make it for me, and I go, nah, you can make it yourself. So I get them down in the shop and make them do it themselves. they appreciate it a lot more. At least that's what they tell me. There's that.
Jeff, we got a question. Is there
Oh,
there
sure
any
thing.
need is there any need to make the back flat, or does it matter?
Any what?
Does it matter if the back is flat or concave, or is it just
No,
dealer's
the
choice?
ones I sell, they're all flat.
Okay, so they're all flat.
The only time I do this is generally when I'm teaching and we have to make a mortise.
And you are going to demonstrate this for us, right?
Got a bottle sitting right over there.
Outstanding. You're the man.
And then when I'm done, what I'll do is I'm going to sign off from here and then go upstairs because I don't like booze in my shop. I've actually known a couple woodworkers that always had alcohol in their shops, and both of them have cut off fingers.
Huh. Well,
Wonder how that
they're
happened.
irresponsible.
Yeah.
I would never do that.
And there it is.
Outstanding.
Like I said, if you do shows and stuff, you know, these are something you can batch out of 15, 20 of these in an afternoon.
Right.
And maybe even use some of your own scrap and stuff. Just make sure it's a very hard wood. This is hard maple.
Yeah.
And most of them you buy in stores and stuff are made out of white oak or oak. So let's do a demo. And then I'll go upstairs and sit for the rest of the meeting. Let me get
There we go. Oh,
Yeah. You getting
going
dizzy?
for a ride. We're going for a ride.
There we go.
Leonard, that bottle's only for demonstration purposes.
That's right. This is Bullet Bourbon, which is my go-to for weekend
Attaboy.
juice. And then whenever I have friends over, it's Angel's Envy all the way.
Yeah. I have friends over, they get Jim Beam.
They get what?
Jim Beam.
Oh,
They don't get the good
classic.
stuff. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Jim Beam, for being mass-produced, is a pretty good bourbon.
Yeah, it was when I was in my 20s.
It's still not bad. And they just came out with a new one that's aged longer. I think it's Jim Beam Black. So this is the chips I use. I get these from Amazon. What I can do is I can put together links and stuff to the screens and chips and the lighters that I use in my kits, so that you can just click on them and go right to Amazon and get them.
Jeff, I already put a link to those same smoking chips in the chat and to the
Oh, okay.
screens. So that's covered, but the lighter isn't there yet. So
Okay. Well, I'm going to show you some things about the lighter, so that if you don't get this exact one, you get a good one. So basically, I just put in roughly 2 pinches. Some people like to pack them. You just don't have to do that. You just create more work for yourself. And plus, you want to get to the booze right away.
Right? Yeah, it burns too long.
Yep. And this is a lighter that I sell in my kits. This is a high-end lighter that if you go to a cigar shop,
There you go.
they're about $55. And the secret to it is it's a
torch.
It's got. Why is it not working now?
because it's a demo.
Exactly. It was working perfect 5 minutes before we started the meeting. Okay, well, when in doubt, you can always use the big torch. Never fails. And basically, if you're going to use the big torch, if you use this little torch, you just kind of come in at an angle and work it around in circles. Fine.
Yeah, it looks like it's used up.
Yeah, I just filled it too. So when you're using this, you want to come down and put it right down in.
Oh, wow.
There it is. Now that's because I use such a big torch. It's a lot more smoke than you would normally get. And there it is.
So how long should you let it sit on top?
Well, when you get in the bar, they bring it out to you like this.
Yeah.
And then some people will leave it, some people will drink it right away. My thought is, I think as far as flavoring the booze, chemically, I don't know if that's even possible. I think it's more a psychological thing, which is perfectly fine, you know, so long as you enjoy it. So yeah, some people just leave them on top for a little bit. So I think what happens is when you're smelling the smoke, which has its own unique smell, and you're drinking the bourbon, the two combine in your mind and kind of convince you that it's flavored. Well, there it is. Whiskey smoker.
That's pretty cool.
Very easy
Whiskey
thing to
got a
make
head
out
on
of
it now.
Yep. And do you switch me back to the main?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there we are. So I just laser engraved this little thing on. I used to give people a choice and they all wanted it because it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I sell these with a cleaning brush and instructions for $25. And for people, and believe it or not, this sells more than just the puck. I come up with a kit that is 3 samples of the chip, the smoker, the brush, the instructions, and the high-end lighter for $50. And I sell more of these than just the plain ones all day long.
Nice.
Can you show us the brush? I didn't see it.
Yeah, you know what? It's just an acid brush. That's all
Just
it is.
an acid brush. Yep.
Yep.
Pretty simple. Thanks.
And I think we've all got those in our shop.
Oh, yeah.
You can
Good
use
way
the
to get rid of the old
2-4.
ones.
What's that?
Good way to get rid of your old acid brush.
Right. Who cares if there's a little resin in it, right?
Right? Yeah. Who cares?
So that's
Cleaned
it.
it with
That's
acetone.
that's the whiskey smoker. A pretty simple thing to do, but a lot of fun. Anybody got questions?
Right now, folks, if you have any questions or comments, now's the time to ask Jeff while we got him here online.
Jeff, what a fantastic demo. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. It's not as long as most of them, but you know, it's not something that takes you forever to do. I will batch out probably 8 or 9 of these in an hour. Easily.
What
And
does
that's-
that do to the bourbon?
Well, it supposedly flavors it. And like I said, I think it's more psychological than anything. The smell, the smoke, the taste of the bourbon. Because chemically, you think about it, it can't age, it can't reflavor the bourbon because nothing's getting mixed in. It's not with it long enough, like bourbon sets in a barrel for flavor for a long period of time. So, but it's very popular. I discovered it 2 years ago at a bar with a friend, and I went up and talked to the bartender, and he said they charge an extra $2 a drink for that. So I made a few of these just to see if I could sell them, and I ended up taking at the end of the show taking orders for 50 of them. So for 50 different people.
Where did you get your boxes that you put that stuff in, Jeff?
Amazon.
Okay.
Got them off of Amazon. Yeah, I think this batch was Amazon. I had some white ones before, but that person's out of business. So, but I can look that up in the lighter, and I can get that out to the site too.
Okay, great. For your,
Okay.
for the demographics, is it pretty much young folks that are buying it, or is an even spread between age groups?
It's an even spread between people in their 20s and people 40s and 50s.
Okay.
I've had a lot of wives by the kids saying, my husband loves bourbon, he'll love this. So kids get it, they think it's pretty cool, and they want to give it a try. So
Right. Yeah. All grown up.
All grown up.
How many times is it good for?
I've got one upstairs. I think it's the one I used, as a matter of fact, 6-7 months ago when I did the demo for you guys. I've probably got 150 smokes on it. So that's why you want to use a hardwood, because you can make them out of anything. You make them out of pine, but it just won't last long. And the heat, if you're just using the standard lighter, the heat doesn't stay on it very long. I kind of figured the lighter would start working now. It's not.
Right.
Shake it, maybe. I don't know.
It's a demo. It's a demo. Something's got to go wrong.
Yeah.
So, great job, Jeff. Anybody
Thank
else
you.
have any questions? Dimensions, diameters, anything? We put it in the chat, but you got a question on it, now's the time to ask.
Yep. 4
Jeff,
inches in diameter. Yep.
What is your diameter, Jeff?
4 inches in diameter. 5/8 inch hole, 1/8 inch deep for the screen, and then a 1/2 inch hole all the way through. And then I generally go with 3/4 inch piece of wood. This was just a little thicker than normal.
Very cool. All right. Well, folks, that's it for the demo. Give Jeff a round of applause. Jeff, once again, thank you very much. Your
pleasure.
first demonstration with us, so you got the training wheels knocked off.
Yeah.
So
I'll
that's
be doing
great. So
more.
oh yeah, definitely. We'll get you scheduled. We'll get you lined up here later on again. And
Okay.
folks, anybody else that's looking to do a demonstration, reach out. Let me know. Let any of the co-hosts know.
That's really
Be more
easy.
than happy to have you, invite us into your shop. Go ahead, Jeff.
It's really easy because I was the president of the Detroit area woodturners during the pandemic, where we had to learn about Zoom. And I kept telling people, all you need is a phone. Talk on the phone, tip it down, and show them what you're doing. And
right.
And probably if I do this again using my phone, I won't use my iPad as a screen because it just created some weirdness back and forth. So it's just very easy to do. You don't need a lot of camera gear and stuff to do this.
Right.
You don't have to be a Matt Harbour to do this.
Right. All right. Thank you, sir. We'll
Okay.
catch you on when you get upstairs. Enjoy that drink.
Yeah.
We'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you. See you in a
All
couple.
right. Let's swing over to Captain Eddie and see what he thought about this demo.
I think it's pretty cool, but can I do that to iced tea?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, because
Sure. You could do it with milk.
the only alcohol I get is the stuff they pump down your veins.
I have a friend who doesn't drink and he smokes his burners.
Smokes his what?
Ginger
Vernors.
ale.
Ginger ale.
They don't know what
Really?
Vernors is.
Yeah, we have
Yeah, we know what
ginger
Vernors
ale.
is.
called
Yep.
burners, and it's the best ginger ale in the world.
Yes, it is.
Right? Hey, something I got to try, not a good demonstration though, and practical use. And I know when you click that lighter, I knew it was in the rule book, it wasn't going to work.
Right.
But
And
you
it's
gotta,
still not working. Uh,
but
Okay.
very nice, a lot of detail, a lot of instruction. But folks, like he said, if you're into doing shows and you're into interesting projects, that's one of the ones that'll make an interesting project. But remember, you must be willing to do the smoking thing at the show and explain to the folks, but you don't have to provide the booze, just the show. You can You can put something else in it like colored water just to get.
I thought that was tea.
You can't demonstrate on that show. They don't allow flames. So I have a video.
Okay, cool. All right, it'll work. But they're so easy to turn out, like you said. And what is that? That's the best use of shop scraps. We don't turn scraps real easy, but that's the best use of scrap material in the shop. Bits and pieces. And that's the odds and ends of cutoffs and stuff. And the dimensions aren't so large that you can't get several out of a plank. So it's a nice move. Really appreciate it. And good use of wood, good details, a lot of technique going in that. And it's what we look for in demonstrations. And as Dane said, if you have an interesting demonstration that you like to share with us, you saw it just now happen. Yes. And it's very simple to orchestrate. And if you've got that kind of that stuff to show us, show it to us. Come on, step up, be part of the operation. And explain the thing. And we always want to know what's going on like that. And no matter how simple you think it is, there's turners out there going, my God, I could have done that. And of course, there's Billy Burt saying, I can make that a little bit better. You know, you gotta live with it. And Duxbury's already built the jig for it. So, you know, we have it all right here. And imagine that if you had an offset twist in the circuit and three in the blank spot. I really enjoyed this evening's conversation with Al and Duxbury talking about mirrors and blank spots. With Al having so much trouble looking at his monitor that he's asking Duxbury about what happens with the mirrors and the movements. They both give me seasickness. Well, as they're explaining it, I'm getting my Dramamine out. I mean, you get that kind of detail right here on Worldwide Wood Turners. Where else can you get it? Nowhere. And I can't look inside of a kaleidoscope. I get dizzy. But we have it all going. We really do have it all going. And what we see tonight that will be featured in our newsletter, and that's where your art, your creations, what comes from here and here. That's what we want to see in our newsletter. And that's what we have. Every other week, this club produces world-class newsletter. Yes, at no cost to our membership. No, all done by volunteers, all via the internet. Not only just on Zoom, but on the world's finest wood turning website. Yeah, we can say that because it's true. It is the world's finest wood turning website. David's sitting back saying, yeah, it's true because we cover everything and it's for the good of wood turning. There's no sponsorships, nobody we're afraid of. We're the big kids on the block and we know what we're doing. We love what we're doing and we want you to be part of it. So that's it. Whatever it comes up with, it's wood turning, including demonstrations for your club, IRDs, whatever, we want to know about it. If it's happening, send it to editor or worldwidewoodturners.org. If you got photographs for your work, send it to us. If you want to talk about our upcoming Level Up project, that's a biggie now. That's Level Up. That's coming up in a little bit less than 2 years. It's going to be Wisconsin. It's a chance for us all to get together. I mean, can you imagine all these people in one place, one time?
My.
There may be
Wisconsin will never be the same.
There may be some federal laws violated in this move right here. And of course, if we bring in some of those Canadian folks, they don't live that far from Wisconsin, they just drive across the line. Especially all those folks to get together. We're going to have a ball. You get information about that. Level up at worldwidewoodturners.org. That's where it's all at. Now we have more gallery coming up, but first, Dane and the Grade 8 have been talking this week. They got a few things to chat about. Dane, am I opening up the door?
Go ahead.
No, I understand y'all had some things to chat on this evening.
Oh no, we didn't get together. The next meeting that we've got is with our co-chairs for the planning committee, which is Billy and Cade. We got one more run through on the layout, and then we're going to turn them loose with the planning committee, and we'll be getting our teachers / coaches, our coaches set up. Soliciting them. The majority of them have already been reached out to and committed. And we're going to start getting things rolling. I'm looking at probably May or June of next year of having the website set up off of our worldwidewoodturners.org website where you go in and you sign up and you see the formats and you get to see what the projects are available, determine whether or not you're going to be interested in it, and then you go down and hit that pay button, and then you're going to be in.
Good.
Things are rolling. For the next 6 months, there's going to be a lot of information coming out.
That's what we're looking for. That's what we do.
Amen. Right now, we're just wanting to, we've got a lot of military minds in the grade 8. And then also along with the planning committee, once everybody gets together with the planning committee. So, so there's a lot of us, with the military background, knowing what happens in a military operation, so we're just, crossing our T's and dotting our I's and making sure that we're planning and anticipating any hiccups and working those out now before we launch everything, and then we have to work through difficulties and that just makes, the customers or the clients, that are going to be coming to the event, us wood turners, we don't want them to have to experience any undue stress about what's going on. So, yep, that's where we're at.
Well,
it's gonna be fun.
I look at
fun, and if anybody wants to reach out, find out what's going on, the current status, level up at worldwidewoodturners.org. I will respond back to you just like that.
Yeah, I like it that the fact that we have our big boy pants on.
Yes, we do.
Pardon me, and we're going to cover the what ifs. We're not going to say we're not going to worry about that. We're not going to. We'll see what happens. No, we know what's going to happen because people are involved, and the world is involved, and every single day is a different day. So we're looking as far ahead as we can, and planning for what could happen.
Right.
And someone told me the other day, isn't that a little pessimistic? No, it's not. It's what a good planner does. You look far enough ahead to see the pothole and avoid it. If you're a motorcycle rider, you know that if you see a pothole in the road, quit looking at it because you're going to run into it. And that's what we're doing. We're not going to look at that pothole. We're going to look at a way around that pothole. And that's what a good planner will do. And we're doing that, folks. We're working with it. We want you to be part of it. Boy, do we ever want you to be part of it. And I'm so proud of this group. You folks, you Worldwide Woodturners have pulled off something that I was told could never happen. Voila.
Right.
And Leia is Italian for, look at that.
Right.
And 2 days ago was National Dago Day, Columbus Day. And
that's right.
My kids tell me, you can't call it that, Dad. I said, hey, I'm a Dago. I can call it that. He got lost.
I can call it that too.
Right. I got 3% in me. I agree. Yeah.
But they. So, okay, we got a lot going on, folks. And above all else, we're talking wood turning.
Yep.
And if you want to be part of it, jump right in.
Yep. We got a couple questions.
Wait. Is that a moment that I could jump right in? Because I have a question for Eddie.
Go ahead.
It's about what I showed earlier today, because
not that. Don't bring up that broom again, Albert.
No, I won't. That's rubies. Now I'm going to turn. Okay. Now again, is the picture this way better, or is it better this way?
Just saw your hand.
about what I showed earlier, with the you know, well, let's talk about the perpetual motion thing.
Yes.
Okay, I have questions because I have like 3.5 days into this thing. Now, when you're saying 120 degrees, now that's what I had to figure out, and that's where I made. Oh, damn it! That's why I put the fins at 120 degrees. Now, what you're saying to me now, dude, is it okay that I just bring this down here to the corner, or are you telling me to move the center down lower so I can get this down here?
No, from that center, you're right now, you're going out 90 degree, you're going horizontal to that center. All right, you need to drop that point.
So to like here?
No, that's not enough. You have to come down to it's 120 degrees, which is the same. If you took that propeller and you put it on this side, just took it over here later.
Put one blade straight up.
I know what you're saying. So right there, I have
two dials. Your other two dials have to be on those 2 points of those propellers. No, down there, the lower the pencil.
Yeah,
Right.
Damn it.
Oh, it's so disgusting.
They're
Okay,
about
so
5 inches too high.
I have to bring the horizontal thing down lower. Is that what you're
Not
saying?
the horizontal thing. Those outside dowels.
Only. So if I brought that dowel down to here in the corner.
No, it's
not
not
enough.
not far enough.
Ow.
That's not enough.
One at a
The
time.
angle between the rubber bands has to be 120 degrees.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
the angle of the rubber bands needs to be.
like
That
this.
panel should match the propeller.
So here's how you do it, Al. You put another plank, just like the horizontal one you got, only down there. That's right. And then you put the dowels down there too.
Well, that means
You don't have the center plank. You don't need the center plank.
True.
I don't need the center plank.
Al,
Okay,
your plank should match the blades of your propeller, is what they're
Okay,
saying.
The rubber bands should be at the same angle as the propeller blades.
Yeah, right. So in other words, eliminate this whole piece of wood and bring
Move
it
it
down.
down.
lower.
Move it down
bring it
like
down.
4 inches, right there.
Bring it down. So that's what you're saying.
But you
And then
need,
put
you got to keep the center pulley in the same spot. You can't move it down, just the pegs.
If this would help.
Oh. So add something to this to get it down there. Keep
get
that
the pegs
center
down there,
where
yeah.
it's at.
Yes, you know.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right, that's got to stay in the middle.
The center here, and add wood here to bring it down to where if you could see my arm.
You could
which is
center-
backwards
You
to
could
the
add
point.
you could add another plank, the horizontal plank, but it's got to be low enough that you can get those pegs into it at 120 degrees from where
another
the
plank
post is.
Yeah, another plank will give it to
Right.
me. You're
Yep.
another plank.
If I can,
this goofy thing.
if I can interject, I'm kind of looking at it as like a clock's face. So the pegs should be at 12, 5, and 7 o'clock.
Correct.
12, 5. Yeah, right. That's
Yeah.
about 120.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
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 Right. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Not 12, 5, and 7, but pretty close. It's gonna
Yeah.
be
Another
So-
horizontal right here and bring it
So
down.
Al,
Yes.
so you see where your propellers are. So you take the center point from your propellers there, and then you make your next plank down, and your dowels are going to be dead on center with your propeller center points, and then you'll be set up for it.
Right. Exactly.
Irregardless, if you're doing it precise, it would be 120 for each, but your propellers would need to be 120 as well.
Right.
So you want to line everything up with your propellers, and then you'll be golden.
Right.
Actually, and if you're going to use the clock analogy, it's not 5 and 7, it's 4 and 8. 12, 4, and 8.
Right.
So that the angles are correct.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock my time.
I gotta find the
Hey,
right
Jeff-
clock. You can't see
Jeff
that
is
on the
one-
digital clock.
Jeff is one deep on a smoked whiskey. Give him a break. Man.
I can
Um,
still smell the smoke
hey,
too.
Yep.
You-
Hey, I'll
you'll
take
never
up
hear
for
me
my
say-
drinking buddies.
as long
never
as the
hear me
angle
say
of the
I don't
dangle is
play.
right, that's all that matters.
Angle of the dangle. I love it.
Yeah.
I got it.
All right, report back to us next week, Al.
Pretty cool to me. They're pretty cool to me.
All right. Good job, Al. Glad that got cleared up. All right, let's
Oh,
go
good
over to
one now.
Mr. Grinstead. Go ahead.
Well,
Are you done now? Okay.
Got it.
Let's go over to Mr. Grinstead. He's got a question. Hey, Bob. Oh no, we got no volume from you. I can't hear you.
No voice.
Oh no. Here, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you, Bob. Let's go to Safety Sue.
Not
He has a.
Wait,
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Good deal. Yeah, I just had a question about, you see this stuff is made out of palm trees or palm wood? Is that
Yeah.
any type of palm or is that special palm or what?
It's black palm or red palm.
Well, you know, around here, I don't know what they're called, like a Mexican fan palm. Is that the same thing?
I'm
Yeah, it's pretty much the same as
No, I don't think so. I've tried to turn that and it's really stringy.
Okay. The only time I've done good with that was when I soaked it with CA. Soaked it in CA, soaked it with it.
Yeah.
Let it sit for about a week to cure. And then I
Mm-hmm.
turned okay. Otherwise, it blew apart like crazy.
Yeah, you have to stabilize it. So if you got the ability to do that with, you can do that, or like Captain Eddie said, CA glue, lots of it.
Yeah,
So
good.
the palm that I've turned out here with the date palm and queen palm and the fan palms and the Mexican palms is I take resin with acetone and then I just soak that in there,
Sure, so it'll soak it.
yeah, until it stops soaking it up and then, and then it's good to go.
Yeah, okay. I don't want to do that then. That sounds like,
it's
expensive.
a pain in the rear, but it's got
a lot of extra work.
It does have a nice effect to it.
Oh yeah, it's pretty.
Right.
You can buy it stabilized if you want to pay
Our
for
trees,
it.
our trees are limited out here, so, and palms are everywhere, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, guys. I just didn't know if it was worth it or not.
Yeah.
I heard a
You could also use like a Minwax wood hardener, a little less work, a little less waiting time. Or the Pentacryl, the Polycryl, which is like a wood stabilizer.
That's what commercial stabilizers use.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, Bob. All right. Let's go to Safety Sue.
Hi, guys.
Go ahead.
Everybody's concerned about blowout. All wood, whether they're doing flat work or turning or drilling or anything like that. Besides my deep dive into wood, I also have like a grand investment in painter's tape because you put the painter's tape where the blades exit. Like if you're cutting a piece of plywood, you put painter's tape all along the line that you're going to cut on the bottom of the plywood, and you're not going to get chip out. Also, zero degree tolerant, face plates and all that are great. But when you're on the lathe and you're trying to do a hole through something bigger than a pen blank, at the end, because where you don't want it to interject with your chuck or the jaws, cut yourself some painter's tape and put it over where the center where that hole is going to exit. And you will see it greatly reduces chip out. So that's my tip for tonight.
All right, very good, Sue. Great points. I do that as well. I use tape on the back of items too whenever I'm sawing or
Exactly. And you always put it on the
drilling.
spot where it's exiting. So like if
And then
you're
if
on
you're
top, you don't put it on top, you put it on the bottom. So stuff like that, guys.
very good. All right, let's go to this guy. Remove this. So I have a tip to share on gilding that I learned or discovered yesterday. And so,
wow,
both things here. And so, doing the beads and gilding is, it's a mess. It gets everywhere. And so, I wanted to find a way to where I can gild and make sure that I've got straight, clean lines with no tear out from the gild. And so what I did is I took sewing thread, and it was black thread, which really gave a nice effect. And I filled that line up, brought it up to decided to fill it on both sides. And then from there, added my sizing. I didn't have to worry about getting any sizing onto the side of the vessel, because no matter how careful you are trying to do it freehand, if you don't have some type of protectant there and painter's tape, that ain't the way to go. So anyhow, did my sizing, put the gild on, and when it was time to take it off, all I did was, unravel the string, and it, it just spun as it came off, and it just made perfect demarcation points on the, the side of the bead, and protected the side of the fillets from getting gold gilding onto the sides. And then,
Dane, how did that keep the sizing from getting on the sides?
He wrapped it.
Well, because it provided a buffer there, so whatever sizing got onto the thread, and then whatever gilding got onto the thread, it came off when you peeled it off.
Okay, so you wrapped a lot of thread there. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. And so I found that to work really well. And then of course, with it being gild, it's still gonna, the flakes are gonna fall off, and they're gonna stick onto your finished surface. And so I found that if you take painter's tape and you stick on wherever the gild flaked on there, it just peels right off. Wherever on the side, painter's tape just pulled it right up. You're not having to sit there with the brush, trying to flake it off, and it went amazingly good.
The gild you're using is a thin layer, right? Film looking stuff.
Yeah, it's a little 3.5 inch square, and I just cut it into strips and brought it up and laid on top. Yep.
Wow.
And then the other thing, when you are gilding, you want to have your final. It needs to be final sanded. You can put sanding sealer on there, or in my case, it's obviously it's dyed, so that means it's got linseed oil on it, and then it's sealed with Parfix 3408, and then I went at it with the sizing. The other tip that I discovered for the inside, and I don't know if you can see or not, so I left it natural. I wanted to keep the natural color. So this is American elm, and it's white as white can be, except the grain is really fantastic, which is why I highlighted it on the outside. But I wanted to seal the inside of the urn. And so what I did was I took maybe an ounce, ounce and a half of water, and I mixed it with Tight Bond Quick and Thick because it dries clear. And I just soaked the inside of the urn body there, and it dried clear. It did not affect the color of the wood. So if it's a non water holding vessel and you want to seal the inside, that's an option for you to do.
Would Elmer's work the same way because it dries clear as well?
I don't know.
Elmer's Glue All. I mean, it's a white PVA that dries clear.
Yes, that'll work also.
Yeah, it'll work just the same.
How do you keep the stuff from bleeding through your dye?
Well, it bled through in one spot here where the grain was cracked or deficiency in the grain. It bled through right there, but aside from it, it's about 1/8 of an inch thick, so I didn't have a problem with anything bleeding through other than here on the side where the grain was soft in those areas.
Yeah, tight grain woods typically won't bleed through very much. Open grain woods like oak and ash will, and burls, they will bleed, especially if you get them thin enough.
Right.
But that looks good, Dave.
Yeah, right on. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's the replacement urn for the one that mysteriously got knocked off and broke last week. So.
I was going to just ask you, did you find that snake?
No, I haven't seen him. I've laid down Demetrius Earth, multiple, all the way across the front garage door and over here on the side where the cabinet's at, where when he was prevalent, and I would try to get him, he'd slide underneath the cabinets over here. But I haven't seen any snake trails, so I'm assuming he slid back in or slid back out the way he came in, through the upper garage doors. So,
well,
whichever.
Go
ahead.
You've heard
go
the
ahead.
story about the snake.
What?
That's a no, Al.
What story is that?
Got me on that one. Hit me like
Trump, he has a story about the snake.
Well, yeah, I've got a story about the snake, and it's recorded, and we can watch it on a repeat.
I'm goofing with you. That's all I'm goofing with you.
I know, right? And so with that, so when I had the beads lined up with the black thread on it, so my wife was out here yesterday and she was looking at it and she was like, "Oh my God, I really like how you highlighted the gilding with the darkness there." And I told her, I'm like, "Oh, it's thread." I go, "It's going to come off," and I explained everything that I just explained on it. She's like, "Oh, well, on the next one, you should leave it. Plan on using the thread for it." And so I'm like, "Yep, okay, right on." In which the gilding pattern, that's all because of her, because I was going to do it differently, and I really would have screwed it up if I did it my way. Would have been way too much. And so with that, last night I was having a discussion with Scott, and of course y'all saw the finial apparatus that I had going on last week with the ribbon finials. So this is only part of it. And of course it's all mangled now from being held, and I've had thread in it and ripped it out. And so I'm going to do a share screen here of basically what it looked like. There we go. And so with this, within the wafers, underneath the finial top, how would a person go about breaking up the overall monochrome look of a one-piece gold, in this case, a gilded finial? How would you go about breaking that up? And so as we were discussing last night, what a good idea with the black thread. And so what I did today was put some black thread in between it, and it kind of frames.
Right.
It's not picking up very good there.
It
Kind of frames each of the elements and breaks it up. So I've got thread underneath, got thread there, and thread up here. But I'd like to open it up to the group for discussion on, I don't want to call it critique, but enhancement of products, enhancements of what we're doing so everybody can get better.
Hey, Dane, have you considered using like a rose gold color offset instead of just the standard gold there? That would kind of match the urn that you have going on there instead of that bright gold. Kind of
Yeah, that's a thought.
And I would argue for contrast that the bright gold offers a difference and then sort of makes the gold stand out more. But I understand what you're saying with the rose gold. Can you do gilding in rose gold? Does it come in rose gold, or is it just gold sheets?
It comes in any tone of gold or silver or chrome or platinum or all kinds of colors.
Yeah, I think there's all types of gilded sheets that you can buy. So yeah, that's a thought.
I really like the black thread idea. That's a great idea, Dane.
I agree.
I think you could use a red colored thread to match the urn too, or a brown thread.
Yeah.
You could use any color you wanted to pick, just something to break up that monochrome look.
Well, or maybe rose gold at the very top of the finial. And gold for the rest of it.
It doesn't have to be on the whole thing. Just
Right.
something to break up that monochrome look.
Right.
I think.
Yeah, you guys, I don't have a single problem with the monochrome look. I like the metallic gold. So.
I hear you, Matt.
But what I came up with, Matt, when I was talking to Dane about this last night, was you lost those aspects of those rings. You lost the detail that's on the end of that finial. By it being all one solid color, you've lost that detail that he took so much time to make. You needed to create a shadow line, some kind of shadow to break that up.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's why the black thread looks really excellent. So if you were painting instead of gilding, then maybe burn lines would work. But you don't do burn lines on gilding, so the black thread makes an awful lot of sense.
I what you guys are saying, but the first thing I thought of first, it really made the contrast look great. But then to me, it looked like a bottle stopper. You figured silver with the black lines.
Fair enough.
Okay.
It would be an awesome bottle stopper. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But okay.
Gold.
Okay, Sue.
Stopper.
Okay, Sue, I can see your point. But what color would you use to enhance those grooves then if you didn't want it to look like a bottle stopper?
Honestly, I would have taken, if you want a contrast, I have like 1 or 2 hair brushes, and I would have gone in between them and painted in the color that I wanted the interior stem to be. And that way, when you see it, you see the contrast, but you can still see through the discs that were created.
Right.
And, you know, that's what I,
true.
Yep.
Yeah. Granted, yeah, the thread, it takes up the space. So now that space, that see-through space is gone. Yep.
It's full.
For me,
mean,
I would have made it a 3-part finial, and I would have put a different color wood where those little, I don't know, towards the top there, talking about where the thread is. I would have used a darker wood right there and then put the gold piece on top of that. So I would have used like 2 different woods. I would have gilded the bottom, different kind of wood, and then gilded the top. Just my opinion.
Gild the point, gild the base, and leave the wafers open.
Rather than 3 pieces of wood, you could do the same thing with one.
Yeah.
Just gild the bottom and gild the top and leave the
You
3
could do that too.
natural wood. Then you don't have to use but one kind of wood.
You can also make things too complicated, though, guys. You make it too busy.
Exactly. Sometimes less is more.
Yeah, I agree with you, Cade. And I mean, you could have, if the wood underneath was dark, it would have made sense to gild part of it. You know, but I don't know. I suppose we all have different opinions about this, but I mean, what I just showed was some sort of thicker craft thread. I mean, it's in the jewelry section, is this bamboo cord, but you know, it's just different colors. So there are color choices. You could have used a dark red thread, for instance, but I like the black. That looks really good.
So,
but yeah,
I do too. But you also
it's a shadow. It's got a shadowing effect.
Look better.
But by the same token, I don't know how many wraps you put on that, Dane, but you didn't have to use so many. I think just a couple to let the black show would have left more open space in between the veins.
Well, I wrapped it all the way full just for the dramatic effect, just so you guys can see.
Can you bring it closer, Dane? Bring it closer to the camera. Thank you.
Yeah. So it fills the groove, but it still has beads.
Right, but I think you'd get the same effect with a lot fewer wraps.
A lot less. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how about this, guys? He wrapped the vessel to keep the gold leaf off the rest of the vessel. What if he'd have darkened that, burned that, wrapped his thread in there, and then gilded it and took the thread out after he was done? And now you still have your airspace and you still have the black line.
When you rip it off with gild on it, you're gonna have ripped gild that comes off the wood too, because it's stuck to the thread and the wood.
No, it doesn't. No, the thread protects it. That's what I was explaining on the urn. Wrapping the
No,
bead.
but the way Scott just mentioned, if you put it on first and then gild it and then rip the thread off, the gild will be over the wire, and the wire will rip the gild off. I know I understand what you meant the way you did it, but it was just the way Scott said it. What if you put the thread on first and then gilded over it and then rip the thread off afterwards? It would definitely take some of the gild with it.
That's what he did on his vessel.
But that's what I did on my vessel. I put the thread on to protect the sides, and the gild went onto the thread, and then the thread just cut it clean coming off.
Okay. Yeah, it could depend on how many.
It works perfect.
It stuck to your seizing or sizing, whatever you call it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the
You can also use like a fine painter's tape, pinstripe painter's tape too.
Yeah, but on a round vessel, you're going to have creases in the tape. I've tried the tape. You just don't get a nice straight edge, you know, even with pinstriping tape.
I think refining it, Dane, like we talked, like I just mentioned, you burned it first, threw wraps of thread in there, maybe not fill it all the way to the top, so you get your gold around the corners.
Right, and then
take it out of there.
Yeah.
Pick it out of there at the end.
Right.
Because then you still have your airspace, like Sue says, then you can still see through your rings, your layers.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
What do you think, Captain Eddie?
Aerospace frames it too.
Well,
Get Captain Eddie in here.
I'm going along with what you first did with the thread. I've done it with a cord, like a nylon cord, but I had them in different thicknesses, and I waxed the cord and put it in there to do the same thing to make a stop for the
Right. Barrier.
the shield. I mean the fixer. And it worked. I've had some really straight lines. I have put it in there against tape and not been happy because
right,
for some reason, even really good. I mean, I used that really good masking tape, and then I've changed tapes a couple of times. It still seems to seep a little bit, and I didn't get that with the wire with the line. But all I heard you guys give us was ideas that we should all play with in our own shops. You know, that's because you know what? These make the difference. And patience is a real rare commodity nowadays. Well, I guess I'm not going to do it. It takes too much time. What is it? A race? Come on. But I like it. And gilding can put that fine little touch on something when done right. When done wrong, which one did it? Kate or Matt said, gaudy is terrible.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can do it and it looks like garbage.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Too much is gaudy.
Yeah. And I've seen guys go to ornamental machines and come out turning out absolute trash because they got to get so much on there.
Right.
And it doesn't blend. It doesn't work. But then you've seen people whose eyes just seem to say, all right, this is a line. This is what follows through. Matt said about the bowl, the arc on the bowl earlier. Sometimes we can start turning, we don't see we see the wood and we can't see what the wood's doing and what's happening. And sometimes folks, you got to turn the lights off on the piece and put something behind it that's very plain, vanilla, and look at the shape of what you're turning. See that what it's holding up with now? So if you painted that black, no, Matt, don't paint it black, please. But if you painted that black and looked at it, you would see the shape, you would see the outline of the piece. You could follow that silhouette. That is what your eye catches. Your eye sparkles on the wood and the glint and the shine of the grain and what comes out of it. That's what comes out. But that original shape is what catches your eye. There's a flat spot in that shape, or if it straightens out a little bit too soon or too early, if it curves up nice and then rockets to the edge, it's trash. Bowls don't curve and go straight.
I got an idea for you.
What?
When you turn your finial, make it the most perfect wood you want, and then just gild the flame.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah, I've done that with a couple of my hollow form finials.
Yeah.
Yep.
That way, if you did the swirl around it like you did before, you'd have the two different woods, but then you'd see the emergence of the flame.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah, and just play a little bit with does it have to be uniform all the way up? Can it be variegated?
Exactly.
Yeah. Can you play with a pencil or a scribe and just variegate it a little bit? Everything you see pops with light in your eye, and a light is a variations in the scheme. And if you see a variation in it, you will hook onto it. That's what you see, the flat spot, the curve. That's when you see a bowl come up and it rockets off to the thing. You will see where it rockets off because it's not a natural.
Now, I got a question for you, Dane.
Spins out like a sore thumb. Yeah.
On your gilding, do you paint the base so that if it's going on something black, it doesn't turn dark, or do you just put it strictly on the wood? You know what I'm saying?
You put an undercoat.
Yeah. Yeah.
the wood's finished. It's got the final finish on it.
Okay, I'm talking about the finial.
He wants to know
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
put an undercoat under it, like a black
yeah,
or
the-
white.
No,
Yeah.
no, I don't do a dark undercoat for it. No.
Okay, well, what I was thinking was that on some of the other gildings that you can buy, they always have you do like a yellow ochre underneath it, or as an undercoat. Why not do a red dye or red paint coming up and then bright yellow going down, and then gild it with the other gilds, and it would look like a flame?
Yeah, variegate it slightly with the color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Say that again. Say it again, Sue. Hold on.
Okay, so for the top part, and we're talking intricate work here. If for your undercoat, put the bottom like you would with your dyes, red. And just swirl it up there, or if it's a dye, just let it drip. And then from the top of the finial going down, you're going to paint it bright yellow and let it drip ever so slightly, or use a thin brush and bring it down into the red. Then when you put whatever kind of gilding you're going to put on it, it should show through a little bit to make it actually look like a flame.
Gilding is not transparent. Gilding is solid.
Not all the time. I mean, the
Well,
gilding.
it's not transparent. It's opaque.
Well, yeah, but I've worked with gilding before, and they always tell you to put an undercoating of the color that you want it to shine as. So the theory could be that you could try it on a piece of wood,
right,
and just see if you get that type of
that effect. Yeah. Yeah, that's a thought. I'm new to gilding. I'm only a year and a half in playing with it, so I'm not familiar with the putting the undercoats and changing colors. I know if you only use one layer of the gild, you can. I know this with items that were black that I did iron acetate on, turned it black, and I'm like, I don't like it. Let me gild it. And where the seams come together, you could like see a crackling effect with the black veins coming through, and those were neat, and those went out the door. So that was a neat effect. And now recently, whenever I gild, I put two layers on, to prevent any lines coming through and showing through on the piece. So,
but just a thought.
I did, yeah, for sure, right.
Dane, I think Captain Eddie was in our conversation last night.
I know, right?
He was talking just like we were talking.
Mental telepathy. He was there. He had to have been.
He had to have been.
Right. So guys, guys and girls, this is what we envision is to be able to, whether we do it every week or we do it every 2 weeks. I'd like to do it at minimum every 2 weeks. I'd like for somebody to, at the end of the demo, come up and say, hey, I've got this piece, what can I do to enhance it? And I don't want to use the word better, but what can I do to make it more appealing, to make the form more appeasing to the eye? I would like for folks, to come up with, show a piece and sequester, we're all here. There's a lot of great minds here that can float a million different ideas out there to you, just like what I did. Probably got 100 different ideas from 15, 16 different people here, along with the ones that were written down in the chat, So I would hope that we can get some takers on this, and somebody will be ready to show something and ask about it next week. 'Cause this is how we learn. This is how we expand our knowledge and our journey of what we're doing. You know, just like for me, I learned 3 different things about gilding that I didn't know. 2 of them was just a crapshoot in the dark. Let me try this. Can't be any worse than what I did before. You know, and then what Sue was talking about with the coloring, you know, possibly showing through, and it's probably from where the two pieces are lapping together from the sizing and showing through its color on the piece. So anyhow, hope everybody enjoyed that. I sure did. All right, let's go back to a little bit of gallery here. Matt, who we got?
Well, I want to jump in really quick here myself, and just say these are some of the whiskey smokers that I did. This is like the second one I did, and there is a screen in here. There was a screen in here. I'll have to find it. It's here somewhere. It was here a minute ago. But so this is oak, and one of the things I did is I didn't like how, like, I was a little clumsy putting the chips in the screen, and they were kind of spilling off the side. So the next one I did, like this one here, is I did a sort of a ridge on the outer side. And then I noticed that after extensive testing, I might add, that I was getting scorch marks around the screen. So because this was red oak, I just took my torch and scorched it up a little bit. And I think that that's pretty cool, but your mileage may vary. And the third thing I wanted to say about this is I convex the bottoms a little bit so that they kind of sit in the glass a little better. You know, this kind of self-center. It's not perfect. Also, this is only 3.5 inches, and it's too small. So thanks again, Jeff. I had a lot of fun making these, and it was a great demo tonight.
It was great seeing yours.
It was.
Yeah. So and like the next one I did a little bit later, I kind of this is a little bit, this section in the middle is a little bit concave to kind of hold the chips in. So anyway, just you know, playing with some thoughts and ideas.
Hey, your measurements for whiskey is 2 fingers. However, it's your pinky and your pointer finger spread as far as they can go. That's 2 fingers.
No, it's your pinky finger and thumb.
I was looking more at the glass. I thought that was like more than 4 fingers.
Both are good measurements.
It's water, guys.
No.
That's the glass I want.
That's what you demonstrated.
All right, let's go to some gallery here. Leonard's up next. What you got, Leonard?
That's what you
So,
demonstrated.
So one of the things that we talked about late last week, towards the end of the show, after hours, we talked about something. I have 2 chucks, and I usually use them when I make lidded boxes. I made a lidded box. This is one I had started before, and I needed my chuck because this was sitting in the chuck, so I had to finish it in order to be able to use it on the next project. So this is it's from an elm tree that was diseased, and I should have taken it down years ago, but never did. So when it finally fell on its own, instead of me actually taking it down, it has lots of color, lots going on.
Ooh, look at the inside. That's pretty.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Now that it's been sitting for about 1.5 years, it is very spalted, and I hope to be able to turn some of that in the coming weeks.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
The grain lines up pretty good.
That's great, Lynn.
So
Nice.
fun little piece. But it's not very big, you know, it's
Very nice.
3.5 inches by 2.5 inches. But big enough to hold some stuff, do some stuff with it.
There you go.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
Good job, Leonard.
Thank you.
Thanks, Leonard. Next up is Howard King. What you got, Howard?
Uh-oh.
Roll Tide.
Watch out.
Roll Tide.
Oh man, I've enjoyed tonight's meeting. Real good demo. I'm gonna try to make some of those. Maybe the whiskey go down smoother, I guess.
There you go.
I don't know. But this little vase here
Yeah. My
had a
God.
magnolia.
Oh my goodness.
I tell you.
He can make his own screens for the smoker.
Right. That's beautiful, Howard.
Holy smokes.
Thank you.
Holy smokes.
So anyway, it's
He always amazes.
My
at the
goodness.
moment.
Okay, explain it.
It's very nice.
Okay.
But it's a holoform, and I drew these, I guess, leaves or something. I don't know, and colored these with India ink, and pierced out here up to the rim, and burned the opening, and so.
Beautiful.
That is gorgeous,
It
Howard.
is. It's
And
just beautiful.
and you did all that with Indian ink?
Yes. Well, I burned it first. The outlines, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, we can see them.
And then I just put India ink inside each of those.
So why choose India ink over something else like acrylic paint or something like that?
Well, I've done lots of Basque illusions with the beads, and I use India ink all the time with that. So I just
Stay with what you know, and it's wonderful.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, India ink covers very well.
Yeah,
Right.
and the colors are vivid.
Yeah.
Howard, did you put that ink on with a brush or did you?
the pen. They come in two sizes.
Oh, you used a pen. Okay.
Yeah, pen, India ink
Okay.
pen. So anyway, that's
That's beautiful.
The shading of the colors is like that's the amazing part.
Yeah.
Now, did you Indian ink
My goodness.
before or after you
Shading.
did the whole?
After, because I wasn't sure where I was going to go and what color and everything. So, and it's a little thick. And once I got started, got about 1/2 inch bit for piercing, and is this a little bit thicker than I thought. But once I got one hole in, I was committed. I had to do that. So.
Yeah, it's beautiful though.
No backing out, no filling the hole. So
Yeah, gorgeous.
Howard, do you go
Yes.
through and draw everything out before you start burning it?
do
Or
what
you
now?
just- Do you draw out all the lines before
Yeah.
you start burning it?
Yeah, I drew these out, and then I try to put some on top and some behind and so forth, and I play around with it and maybe erase some, and then I just let it go, just
Just let it go.
just let it go, and then I try to outline with the burning marks, and then do all the chevrons. I guess these are chevrons, and seem like I do more chevrons now than anything. But anyway, and I was going to do something different up here. I was going to color this different. I thought, well, maybe I should pierce it. And so after I started piercing, I said, well, I messed up. I shouldn't try to pierce it. But anyway, I was committed at that
like
point.
it.
I like
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, Howard.
Well, thank you.
Just don't let them put water in it, Howard.
Well, I can up to about right there.
Yeah.
No, it's
About two. That's about 2 fingers, right, Tim?
it's
About 2 fingers.
Yeah, I I could put a smoker up here, right?
Right?
I like that idea.
Hey, wait a minute. Down here in the South, we do it like this.
Yeah, you sure do.
I'll
Nice,
tell you
nice
what,
dribble glass.
You gotta
The-
put yourself you gotta put yourself a ring on there to hold it.
Right. Yeah.
the piece,
Yep,
the piece
I know how to
itself.
do that.
Hey, you know what? That's friggin' gorgeous.
Well, thank you.
That's
Thank you.
friggin' gorgeous.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I
Look at
took it.
that. Look at that. My goodness. That's gorgeous.
And it's got a couple of coats of clear enamel spray on it. Acrylic spray, I should say.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
What's the type of pen do you use? Faber or?
Faber Castell.
Yeah, Faber Castell. There you go.
Yeah. That's what I used on beading, like basket illusion stuff.
Yeah, I've done the basket illusion and I've used those pens, but I guess the color I got wasn't that bright a color. I'm gonna have to try something different.
Yeah.
You get a different
This is scarlet red.
scarlet red. Okay.
Yeah. I could. There's a number. They have numbers on them.
Yeah, right.
Pens, but I can't remember what the number is on this. But it's scarlet red. And Hobby Lobby used to carry those, but they don't anymore. You got to go to Amazon and order.
Oh,
those.
really?
Yeah.
Does Michael carry them anymore, or I think they carried them, right?
Who, Michael's?
Yeah, I think Michael.
I haven't been Michael's in a while. Yeah, I need to check that out. Yeah.
Michael's is always very iffy whether they carry anything or not. And I
Right.
think it's by location.
Yeah, it might.
You can get them on Dick Blick, and you can also get them on Amazon too. So I put a name of what I use, which I think is the same thing as what Howard uses.
Yeah.
They come in different brush sizes too. So pay attention because like, all right,
They have a broad and then they have a small. And
Yeah,
the
so
small
let me-
is a metal with a wick coming out of it, and the broad is just a wick coming out.
yeah. So that's a B and an
That's it.
S, and
Yeah.
the B or the S is like they're different. Like this one the top one has got a sort of a big brush, and the one below it has got a fine line thing on it.
Right.
Yep.
And they got a new one. They got a new one now that's a broad chisel shape.
Yeah,
Wait,
they have
that
have
comes
bigger
out.
ones. So yeah, so if
Yeah.
you're doing
It,
yeah,
it's a chisel shape, and it covers quite a bit.
And if
faster.
the
This is-
tip went out, you can-
these are what I use to draw the faces on the snowmen. So
Oh, okay.
I'm using the fine line ones. So yeah, if you're going to do larger areas, then get the broader tips.
And one thing, don't use oil on top because it'll bleed. And the ink will bleed all over the place. Ask me how I know that.
Oh, that's good to know.
You saw a good video, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I was in it, I guess.
yeah. Starred in it, produced it, directed
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roll Tide.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Great stuff.
Thanks
All
very
right,
much,
thank
Howard.
you.
Beautiful
Yeah,
piece.
great stuff.
Thank you.
Next up is David Edwards. You're up, David.
All right,
There.
you got me?
Now you all by yourself.
You got me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Well, I was dozing off there, I guess. I've done these in the past, and this one here is one I just recently finished. It's a bowl.
Ooh,
Oh, wow.
There you go.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Wow.
that's
yeah. Nice
gorgeous.
job, David.
I love the
Wow.
star pattern. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
You nailed that one that time.
Wow.
You need a demo just on the star.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Hey, he learned.
The demo,
David learned
the
from his
demo would
last
have
one.
to take me 6 hours because it takes me about that to make
Go.
one. bars.
So what degree did you cut those angles?
15 degrees.
15 degrees?
And then they're not, either it was 15 or 20. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But you had to figure out each one, then you.
Right.
You got two pieces here, so you had to divide it in half in order to get the right angle.
Right.
Right.
So
Very cool. What's the
Yeah,
woods?
really cool.
What's the woods?
Cool.
this is a little red tint in it, but it's done by resin.
So
And
how
then
many,
I
how
put.
many I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
How many pieces per ring?
I think there's 12 per ring. So I have to cut each one of them with an angle on each side.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, excellent.
But the pieces start out like that there, but they're by the time I turned it down, it was just a little bit, but some flaws. And if you look real close, you could see a piece of plastic right there.
Oh yeah.
That
Got a floater.
Yeah, it's a floater, but it's sort of when you mix them and they dry too fast or something, that's what happens.
Yeah.
And then
That looks great.
Then they have another floater right here.
Yeah. Yeah, the light was picking it up earlier.
Yeah. And they're hard to get out. I can't figure out, each one of these has had a floater. I don't know.
Hey, nobody knows unless you point it out to them.
Of course, the way I mix it, maybe that's how I get the floaters. I don't know. I just start out with one big glass full, and I put 50-50 in there and mix it, and then I mix the color in. I make sure I drop so many drops in there in order to make the color come out. So
how do you mix it by hand?
Yes.
How do you hold the wood in the ring as it's cast?
Well, that's another question. Is when I make the star, it's just a flat piece.
Yeah.
Okay, now I take my dimensions that I made the star out of, and then what I do is I make a sacrificial plug to glue everything onto that plug.
Okay.
And then when I turn it down, I turn the inside out. When I turn the inside out, the star appears. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's how I do it. I mean, I don't know the correct way of doing it or whatever. That's the way I do it.
I think what I would like to know is, I got the star part, but how do you get the actual pieces separated with the resin, so they don't come together?
I have what I call sacrificial plug.
Okay.
You turn it upside down like that.
Okay.
What you do is you put spacers in between each layer, and each layer you glue to that
gotcha.
or whatever, 2x4, 2x6, whatever I made it out of.
Yeah.
And then you glue each one of the pieces of wood to that, but you put spacers in between each piece so that the glue will dry it that way in each ring. And then I do one ring at a time, put a spacer in. Then I cut out another ring, and in this one here I happen to have 2 rings, but I originally started with 3. But I had a couple pieces that was sagging down and it didn't look right, so I cut it off. So,
Well, your
so
stuff
this-
is beautiful.
yeah, this with that there. I make these pre-make these, and then when I'm gluing them, I reverse the star to the plug, so that when I'm turning the plug out, then the star appears. Make sense?
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's all I have to show for today.
Beautiful.
Thanks very much, David. Beautiful piece.
Thank you.
Next up is Joaquin.
Oh, hello. Yeah, okay, my mic's on. But I'm a fan of hackberry. I really enjoy turning spalted hackberry, and it's a throwaway down here. Nobody likes it. They got berries and they cut them down, but you really get some beautiful pieces out of it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, with the spalding.
Or at least you do.
That's amazing.
That's beautiful.
Pretty.
Wow.
Nice job, Joaquin.
And this is probably one of my thinnest bows I've turned. Just to see how thin it gets. It's hackberry also.
It's gorgeous.
It is.
Well done.
Wow.
What's that hold? About 2 cups of popcorn?
That's about all.
Yeah.
And then I don't know who it was. I've seen them do a scorching job. This is ash, and it's scorched. Well, first I took my grinder with a wire wheel in it, and took all the soft grain out, scorched it. It cracked on me when I was scorching it. Then this is white embellishing wax I put inside the places, and then sanded it off and left the wax in there and put a finish on it.
Does that leave it a tactile finish or
Yeah.
feel?
Yeah. Where all that wax is,
Soft grain.
it's soft grain and ground out with the wire brush. I used to do a sandblaster, but I lost access to the sandblasting and had to use a wire brush, and so that's what I got.
All right, thanks, Joaquin.
Nice. Very good.
Thanks, Joaquin.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, Dane, that's all I got on my list. So let me put you
right.
back up. And
All right, sounds good. Well, we're at the top of the hour, so good night, David. So now is the point. If you want to duck out, you don't have to feel guilty about saying goodnight and announcing departure.
Can I ask a question?
Yes. Can.
Wait, what's wrong here? My goodness. Hey, I had a neighbor that cut down 4 trees, and I got quite a bit of it today, and one of them is sumac. Now, when I was growing up, it was called poison sumac. Should I turn it or just burn it?
Well,
you can turn it or wear the proper PPE, and if you burn it, don't inhale the smoke.
Well, I'm saying, I mean, so it's not anything that I should probably turn. Is that what you're saying?
Just let us know.
Al, that is not.
My first question
all
is,
the time.
my first
Al,
question is,
that's not
are you
poison
allergic to
sumac.
it?
I turn it all the time. I just wear a mask. So
Yeah.
wear a respirator if you're gonna turn it.
And if you're not allergic to it, you should be okay. Just wear a mask.
Al, the sumac that is poisonous is a plant, not a tree. That is a tree. It's not poisonous.
Yeah, I mean, the friggin' thing was 30 foot tall. She cut down 4 trees. I got that. I got cherry. I got there's 2 other ones that but one of them was sumac, and I wanted to ask that question tonight.
The tree can also cause an allergic reaction if you're allergic to it. It can cause similar stuff to like poison ivy would.
So the Indians used to make dye out of it and eat the berries. It's not poisonous.
Right. It's not.
It's a totally different plant.
when I was growing up, those branches, we used to take the leaves off. My cousin and me, we used to whip each other with them. Yeah. Remember when this is just a weed. It's a weed. No, so if you let it grow, she's got one that's a tree. It's like 30 foot tall. So, I mean, do you remember when just weeds?
Sumac in the U.S. is part of the cashew plant family. It is not poisonous.
It's not the poisonous plant. The tree that grows in the U.S. is not the poisonous plant.
That is correct. It's a tree, not a plant.
When the berries come on, the deer are out there eating it.
Well, that's too.
It's a real
Indians, you can make dye from
You ready to go in?
the berries.
You ready to go back in?
The stuff you got, Al, is called staghorn sumac, and it is not poisonous.
I'll tell you what. I got some. I'll bet you they gotta be.
It gets big.
24 inches wide. I got them here. It's a real pale white wood.
Yeah, it's a real white wood. It's not very hard. When I was stuck up in Kentucky, whenever I was doing the road trips back and forth there a few years ago, that's what I'd cut down, go cut a log of sumac and sit there and spoon carve out of it.
Yep.
Ours is
Nothing wrong
different.
with it.
Ours is greenwood.
It depends on what species of staghorn sumac it is. It can be green or white. The green stuff they call smoked sumac, which is it's all the same plant. It's just a variation, just like maple trees.
Try making some decent shapes out of it. Sand it to about 220 and start practicing with your dye.
No, you don't want to dye it. It's too pretty to dye.
Not that white stuff.
The white
No,
stuff.
but it's got a real nice grain pattern to it, though.
It does.
It sure does.
It really does.
Al, you have to seal it though, because it cracks very easily.
Yeah. I mean, we just all trying to cut down just today. I have half of a driveway right now full of wood.
But in a couple days, that'll crack right in half. If you don't seal it.
Take some of it and put it in a deep freezer.
Ruby, if you're on, there were 4 guys, and you know that little figure that we would just carve and put a little face on? They got a kick out of those things. It was just perfect. And I gave the boss, I gave him a pen. And, I think I might be able to get wood for the rest of my life. I had a blast with the past 2 days with these guys.
Yeah. You can make some nice boxes out of it.
So I just want to know about sumac.
Yep, you're good. All right. Well, with that, it's 5 after the hour. So the official meeting is over. We will keep for what we call the after hours. Oh, look, Carl's awake now. Hi, Carl.
Hey, Carl.
Gary's awake now too.
So those of you that are still here and you want to hang out with us, this is the Unabridged. This is where we get to let our hair down and really get to know each other. Turn your cameras on, participate in the chat and the conversation that we're, get into. And then for those that don't want to hang out, we'll see you next week. And thank you for showing up for another meeting. Next week, we will be turning a funnel. And not the bowl kind that you got to put a plug in.
Or do by accident, eh?
Or do by accident, or whatever it is you all do.